Hi everyone, and welcome to RollBound 2. I am your DM, Chas, and I'm going to go down the list and have everyone introduce themselves, starting with Groove.
Good tidings. I am Groove, and I am bound to the role of Jonathan Oneros Phage.
Alrighty, Allie.
Hello, I'm Allie, and I am bound to the role of Prince Xander.
Alright, Minnow.
Hello, I am Minnow, and I am bound to the role of Vivian Deshays.
Alright, Joey.
My name is Joey, and I'm bound to the role of Jay Elwood. Forgot his last name for a second.
Alright, Dakota.
Hello everyone, my name is Dakota, and I am bound to the role of Lysel.
And last but never least, Mickey.
Hi, I'm Mickey, and I am bound to the role of Emiko.
Yeah, but where we last left off, you guys literally, right at the end of last session, you were being led through a portal, by the 4 individuals that you met, but you met the individuals... Shut the fuck up. You met Ambrose.
Shutting the fuck up.
You met Ambrose, a Wisp Elf. You met Alicia, an Aetherkin. Juniper, and then you also met Juniper and Bumble, who are both fairies. And like literally where we last left off, you had all just walked through the portal, and it was, you felt like you were removed from space and time while also becoming melded with it completely. And it is a very weird feeling. It would almost be sickening, except for the fact that it is also very much not sickening at the exact same time. And when you all open your eyes again, you are in a place that is so much different from the one that you were before. You see that there are towering trees that are glittering, shining colors like pink and purple and blue and teal, and even though you know that they're not emitting any sort of light, there is a sort of glow that emanates off of them. The grass is emerald green, the way that someone would depict in a crazy surreal painting, but it's real and you can touch it. And there's a soft breeze that carries these little glittering particles through the air that appear magical, but it just fills through the air, and it feels the perfect temperature. It doesn't feel too hot or too cold, but it also, you just have this weird, intense, hair standing on end, prickling feeling go throughout your bodies. You are in a place so unlike anywhere you've ever been. Although, Lysel, when you step through the portal, you feel more comfortable here than you did in the material plane. You feel very familiar here. Almost like walking into the front door of your home. And thankfully, you arrived with your guides, and none of you were separated from Lysel, so all of you peacefully made it to the other side. And Ambrose and Alicia will look between themselves and then back at you all and say, well, that went as good as it could have. And
Could you perhaps direct us to the site of these strange fissures?
Before I do that, I think we should stop by Verdanthus first and speak to my brother. Primarily because to show you within the city's limits where it is safe, but also because my brother, Ryder, has more information about the fissures, much more than I do. He is of a higher rank than me, I'll put it.
Very well. Lead us there, please.
Yeah, and the landscape around you, except for on the specific path that you're on, seems to shift and change. You'll see flowers that'll be there for a few seconds, you think, and then they will immediately disappear and change into something else, another plant, another tree. It almost feels like every time you blink, other than on the path that you are currently on, everything seems to change. It's almost disorienting, but not quite enough to make you sick. Maybe just you blink a few times and wonder why everything doesn't look exactly the same. And you look into the sky and there is no sun, nor moon, nor stars. You see this kind of waving energy above you, mimicking a sky. It is bright blue in color, but not so much that it strains your eyes. It literally looks like you are directly under a canopy of magic. And it doesn't take too terribly long before this sort of pathway leads into what looks to be the front gates of a city. There are multiple karsts that go into the air, like these natural stone pillars that tower into the air, and there are buildings built into the sides of them with bridges connecting them. There are 4 of these giant karsts in one, like, kind of surrounding this area with multiple buildings and structures and bridges connecting them. And kind of resting in between all of these karsts on the ground is a very more calm structures. They look more like cabins and small cottages rather than big, glorious buildings. And there are little baskets atop of sticks that have, like, flittering lights in them that the city folk use as a light source. And the city itself is very beautiful. There are people. All of them appear to be the same type of individual that Ambrose is. An elf with lightly colored skin with weird markings, and the skin is all very, like, different shades of blue or purple or gray. Not a lot of or very deep colors that are more on the cooler side. And individuals seem to recognize Ambrose as he leads you through. And he and Alicia had been, like, whispering to each other along the way. It was maybe not that you can really tell, like a 15-minute journey at most. And Ambrose turns around and holds out his arms at his side and says, "This is Verdanthus, one of the many homes of the Wisp Elves. With my brother's approval, of course, you'll be staying here as a safe place while you volunteer to help us."
My. And why for would you help us so readily? Is this the custom of Verdanthus?
In a way, yes. We take in many stragglers, or people who get lost in the Aetherspine, if we can find them, that is. You see, this is one of the few places in the Aetherspine that does not face the tumultuous changes of the rest of it. Verdanthus pretty much stays the same. If we dare venture out of its confined area, we too can get lost, but our kind have ways of navigating. Same with anyone that is born of the Aetherspine. Considering that you all wanted to come in, and I cannot take that desire away from you, it would be against my conscience to not offer some form of aid if I know that I have it.
I see.
Well, we certainly appreciate your hospitality.
Of course, I especially think that Ryder will be more amenable to letting you stay here if he knows you're offering to help. Normally it wouldn't be an issue at all, but he like lowers his voice a little, and Alicia like puts her hand on his shoulder and turns around and says, "There's a lot of refugees in the city right now. So things are a little crowded and a little stressful for everyone, really."
What are the refugees fleeing?
The monsters caused by the fissures, and also sickness. A village had been completely destroyed. And we helped them, but because of that, there's a lot going on. The village was called Nettlekeep. There's not much left of it. That's where Juniper and Bumble came from. And Juniper and Bumble wave. Oh, excuse me, thought I was gonna sneeze again. And Ambrose and Alicia walk up to one of these very large, effectively mountains. I have no other way to describe a karst other than just giant rock. And there is this, like, waterfall that cascades down the side of it, but there is, like, this wooden platform that somehow grips to the water despite the fact that the water is flowing. And, you know, seems to be hovering in the air. And Ambrose and Alicia will step on, and they'll say, if you want to take time to get acquainted with the city, you may. Otherwise, we can go speak to my brother now, but that is up to you.
I say we go speak to their brother first.
Post haste.
Yeah, and we'll load up onto the platform.
Yeah, and the wooden platform, seemingly gripped to the waterfall, starts to rise in the air. And you're getting misted a little bit by the water, but not so much that the waterfall is just pouring down on you and drenched. But it is a comforting, like, cooling sensation.
Is the waterfall within, like, a touching distance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Xander's gonna stick his head in.
Maybe he gets a couple vials of it.
Yeah, and Xander, what is your maximum HP?
Normally or right now?
Right now.
48.
It increases by 2.
Oh, sick.
Obviously, this effect doesn't continue as you stick your head in, but when you stick your head out, you just feel a little healthier.
Yeah. Xander, who's kind of been, you know, we've been doing some pretty hardcore travel for the past couple days. So he's just taking this moment to rinse off and is pleasantly surprised when he discovers that he feels healthier now.
Yeah, and, Minnow, do you know what, like, liquid that has, like, pearl powder put into it looks like?
Yes.
Yeah, like, a little bit, not as intense as that, but when you put the water in a vial, that's what it looks like.
Cool, yeah.
And when the waterfall reaches the top, you see that the waterfall, like, where it starts to come out of the mountain, like, literally flattens out, and Ambrose and Alicia both walk on it without any issue. Their feet don't get wet, they don't slide off of it. It seems like there is, like, an invisible force that allows you to walk on this part to step off of the platform and onto the catwalk.
Xander's slightly nervous about this situation, but he's going to attempt to step onto it.
Yeah, you have no issue. You know, your heart starts to beat because the innate desire to not fall and not get swept away, you know, starts to kind of take over, but, you know, it's almost like there is a pane of glass over the water as you set your foot down and nothing happens.
Well, that's quite interesting, isn't it? And he's going to continue to follow.
Alicia can't help but chuckle very, very slightly. Forgive me. It is very delightful seeing new people when they first arrive.
You know, it's interesting because I've witnessed newcomers to the Kingdom of Petrus crossing our sand bridges, which look to be very flimsy and very thin, have, I assume, similar reactions to mine just now. So it's quite entertaining being on the other side of that.
Of course. I must I must say out loud, I was not poking fun at you, just it's nice seeing people that have that wonder that a lot of us who are native here don't.
Feeling I know well.
Yeah, and there are, inside of this, like, mountain surface, there are, like, buildings carved into it, and they lead you up a flight of stairs that go basically to, like, the tippy top of this karst, and when you look out, it is the weirdest feeling. You feel like you're looking out, and there is just a shimmering light of, you see the city in perfect clarity and some of the woods outside of it, but beyond that, you see just what looks to be a shimmering mirage that doesn't stay the same as you gaze out at it, and a kind of rolling magical mist that seems to cover, almost like it is blocking your view on purpose. It almost feels intentional that it's there. And... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask, does Xander feel any elemental energy here?
Make me an Arcana check, but use your Constitution.
Okay. I have an ability that allows me to use my Charisma instead. Is that okay?
That is fine.
Okay, so that is... you said an Arcana check, so that's a total of 24.
Yeah, when you look out, you kind of, like, focus a little bit, and maybe in a way you think of home, and you do sense some elemental magics traveling throughout Verdanthus.
I realize this is kind of a stretch, but does Xander have any idea, like, what types of elements, or is it just, like, a mixture of all of them?
It's a mixture of all of them, really. It's kind of an all-encompassing feeling.
Fascinating.
Chess, I apologize if you said this before, but right now we're overlooking, or was like an overlook of the city. How large is the city?
The city is, it's not too terribly large. It is bigger upwards than it is, in width. I don't know if you guys remember going here, but do you remember the city of Valier from the first campaign?
I do.
Kind of, yeah. That was after we got off the boat, right?
Yeah, it's about the same size as Valier.
Got it. Dakota, do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, definitely big enough to be considered a city, but not a very large city.
Got it.
And Ambrose will knock on a door that looks like it's made out of, like, polished oak, that has, like, brambles kind of, like, clinging to the edges of it, and he'll knock, not hear an answer, and then knock again, and you'll see someone open the door, and you expect to see someone maybe at level with Ambrose, but the person who opens the door is, like, maybe up to his knee, and looks like a small cat standing on two legs with, like, bright purple fur, but kind of like humanoid facial features, not fully, but a little bit, and a big fluffy tail that is bigger than she is, and she says, "He is not in a good mood right now." Okay, well, I have to speak to him. Okay, but do so at your own peril. He just got really bad news. That's fine. We have visitors, so I kind of need to speak with him immediately. Oh. Okay. That's fine.
Hearing this, before we go in, Xander is going to... The hat that he got has grown flowers in the past few hours since he has gotten it. He's going to pluck a fully bloomed goldenrod from near the top of the hat, and as he casts it into the wind, it dissipates into sand. I'm going to cast Enhance Ability on myself for Eagle's Splendor, giving me advantage on charisma checks for an hour.
Bet. And the small little cat person, kind of shifts to the side and opens the door a little more and says, "I warned you, Ambrose." And he goes, Yes, I know. Thank you, Penelope." And he walks inside, and you come into this kind of circular, carved out of stone room with many very homey and comforting decorations. But it appears to be some kind of war room, lobby area for guards, barracks, that type of vibe. And you see an individual standing at the end of said war table. He looks a lot like Ambrose, albeit a little taller. And instead of having a kind of faded black hair, his hair is completely black with some white streaks that appear to be from age. And one of his eyes, his left eye specifically, is silver in color and kind of looks rotted in his skull. It looks like it's been severely damaged. Not recently, but it just looks fucked up. And he has kind of a grim, annoyed expression on his face. And he lifts his head and goes, "Ambrose, you've returned early." And he leans to the side to look over Ambrose's shoulder and sighs, and he goes, "Who were they?" And Ambrose steps aside and goes, "I will let you introduce yourselves. It's rude to introduce others." Here."
Xander steps forward and says, "Greetings, my new friend. We are, of course, the Silver Lining, a band of heroes from the distant and yet not so distant land of Kelmra. We've come to offer our aid in your time of need. We hear you're having quite a nasty problem with some fissures and the creatures that are coming from them."
Xander, make me a persuasion check.
You have to persuade this guy to let you even exist.
I know. Oh, man. That's 15. 22.
Yeah, this guy looks at you at first he was just going to do one of those, "I'm gonna stop you right there." But then you started talking about how you were there to help them, and you see, I don't want to say you see his features soften by any means, but you do see him his very long pointy ears perk, they twitch when you say that. And he seems definitely more open to hearing what you have to say. And he goes, "Right, pardon my rudeness. My name is Ryder. I am Ambrose's elder brother."
A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Ryder, and I take no offense. You are far from the first individual that we've come across who is rather stressed from a spot of bother, as it were.
Yes, being the High Hunter of the Cephiotellum is a bother these days. And Ambrose will lean in and go, "The Cephiotellum is what we call our guards in Verdanthus." And Ryder goes, "Apologies.
That's quite all right. So, as the High Hunter, we come to you in search of a good starting point where we could best utilize our resources and put them towards improving this rather dire situation by the sounds of it, what with towns getting destroyed. It's all very tragic."
Yes, the destruction of Nettlekeep was most unfortunate and most devastating, and has caused a lot of problems. First and foremost, I don't know any of you. And, what was your name again?
I am Prince Xander of the Kingdom of
Johnny.
Petra.
He, like, looks at Xander, who's, like, kind of eloquently, like, introducing himself, and then Johnny, like, leans over him because he's tall enough to and just goes, Johnny! And he goes, right. And he looks at the rest of you, like, expectantly, as if waiting for you to introduce yourselves.
And they are not Johnny.
Very, very astute. My name is Mistress Vivian Deshays.
My name is Lysel.
And, he'll look at, Emiko.
I'm Emiko.
And he'll look at Jay.
They call me J. Elwood, Knight of Redka. Sir J. Elwood, of course.
Excellent. Well, the Silver Lining, as you've dubbed yourselves.
As he says our group's name, there's like the sound of wind chimes and a sparkling of light behind Xander.
He is not fazed by this. And he says, there has been a surge of sick and a surge of monsters. Currently, our hospital has every bed filled, so much so that they have to make more space in the area outside, putting up tents and whatnot, as a lot of the denizens of Nettlekeep have been horribly ill. With
Xander looks at Sir Elwood and says, sounds like you have a lot of hands to shake.
Oh, I'd be perfectly fine shaking hands. And helping with those diseases, too, if that's being an issue.
That was sort of what I was implying, because, you have to lay hands on them to cure the disease.
Oh, glorious. Yes, play on words. I love it.
Right. Also, there's been, more concerningly, an influx of monsters. Now, these monsters aren't particularly special. They are creatures normally within the Aetherspine. However, there's been a surge of them, and they are coming closer to cities. I've had 2 hunting parties attacked just this week alone. And while us Viscafer are capable of getting away from them, it is still abnormal. We also have an asset that might give us a start, but before I make any rash judgments, I'd like to see what you're capable of. Is this agreeable to you?
There is
What?
evil to be cleansed, and you're asking to test our capabilities? If we're not capable, then we will be dead. What more proving must we do?
It's a precaution I must take. But also, I'm not having you go do some busboy's busy work. Genuinely, this is something that needs to be done.
Huh. And what could be some more important than these fissures, tell me?
Oh, make no mistake. This has directly to do with the fissure.
Xander is going to hold up a hand and say, in what manner would you like to test our capabilities? We are quite varied in our different skill sets.
Well,
That is what makes us a good team.
a fissure is opened up near the city, and our Wisp Mother is most worried about it. An influx
Well, of course, you have to prove us before we can take on this big mission. Quite agreeable. Yes, where's this fissure?
He sighs and says, it's to the north of the city, deep within the woods. Just before the landmark ends.
Well, I'm sure this fissure is no match for the glory of the Silver Lining. And once again, wind chimes and sparkles. Shall we go take care of it now, or do we have some more, etiquette to observe before we can take care of this problem for you?
Oh, I need to make it very clear.
Etiquette.
The asset he was talking about is not the fissure. He wants you to go take care of this fissure before he gives you any more delicate information. essentially.
Yeah, I get that. And Xander's asking, like, hey, do we need to stand on more ceremony or can we go?
No, I was responding to a question in the chat. My bad.
That's fine.
Okay.
Vivian's gonna ask it out loud too, because she's in a bitchy mood. But I'll wait for Xander's thing to be done.
He shakes his head. No, I don't have anything else to add. If you want supplies, you are free to browse the markets in the lower city. Unfortunately, and this isn't out of disrespect or malice or distrust, I don't have anything else that I can give you. All of my hunters are using the bulk of our equipment.
Understood. Then we shall set out right away.
Why are you withholding information from us?
Because I don't know you.
So?
And this is...
Why is the information dangerous? And who is it dangerous to?
This is not a decision that I make. It is a decision that our leadership makes. If you want to understand her logic, you can ask our Wisp Elves herself, although she is very busy as of late. However, since I am the High Hunter of the Guard, if I trust you and understand that you are capable, I would be allowed to give this information to you.
The Wisp Mother can give it for free, but you can only give it if you really trust us?
Yes.
I don't care. There's evil to be cleansed.
All hunters within our culture must go through some trial phase before they are given a more delicate set of missions.
Yeah, Vivian just turns on her heel and leaves.
Yep.
Before we get to the smiting evil and making sure that all the monsters stop bothering you, would it be possible to guide me towards the patients that are suffering from this illness?
Ryder looks to Ambrose and says, Ambrose. And Ambrose, kind of I don't want to say flinches, but he kind of, jolts a little bit. Not out of fear, but attention to me. And he goes, yes, brother. And, then Ryder looks to Alicia and says, and Alicia, you know what you have to do as well. And, she goes, yes, Ryder. And, Ambrose will, reopen the door, and he'll look back down at the Penelope, and Penelope will, shrug her shoulders I told you, man. And he'll sigh and, walk out with the rest of you, unless any of you have any extra questions.
Nay.
How exactly are we supposed to close one of these fissures, if that's what we're trying to do?
Oh, yeah. We'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah. Ambrose, closes the door behind all of you, and he went, well, that went about as good as I expected.
Charming fellow, your brother.
You don't have to lie to me. You can say that he isn't.
Ambrose, what information is he keeping from us?
He, looks around. Real quick, I'm gonna do something for Ambrose. Oh, that's really good. He, leans down and says, we have a prisoner that for some reason the guard and our dearest Wisp Mother want to keep secret. He has something to do with it, but he won't talk.
Yeah, I think Viv's satisfied with that. Nothing we can really do about that right now, and it's not going to help us with this fissure. Okay. Yeah, so she says, I think we have some things we need to attend to in the city before we go. Lysel, you referred to this place as your home before. Will we be safe in their company to traverse?
Well, I actually haven't been here before, per se. Well, at least not in this kind of consciousness. I honestly don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, and Ambrose will lead Gelwood to the hospital. And are all of the rest of you going to the market area?
Yeah.
We're trying to go and start scoping out the fissure area.
So you're leaving the city without us?
Just he's gonna stay safe, but he's gonna try and take a look, get some information before we go.
Well, didn't they just say that you don't have a guide that's from here, you can get super lost super easily?
I don't know if that's the case in the city. I think they said this city stays the same.
Yeah, actually, Emiko, give me an Arcana check, but also use your Constitution.
I can give you advantage on that.
Okay, cool. Uh, 21.
Yeah, Emiko, the Aetherspine and the spirit world are very, very, very different. Exceedingly so. But there's still some energies that feel the same. You get the impression that the city and a few, a certain distance around it does not yield itself to the changing and unrelenting magics of the rest of the Aetherspine. This place stays pretty much the same.
Yeah, but the fissure's not in the city, is it?
It's not in the city, but it's still within the area where it's, the people here call them landmarks. The city and the, area around it, are all still part of the landmark where that area doesn't change, which is why they could tell you where it is exactly. If it were out in the wilds of the Aetherspine, they would not be able to tell you exactly where it is.
Got it.
Great, yeah, Johnny's gonna go scope it up.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm going to go with Sir Elwood.
I think Lysol's gonna go with Johnny just to make sure he's safe.
So we got 3 groups of 2.
Yep.
Sweet. I am going to roll a d6.
Not it, no.
Nose goes. And Xander, are you going with Emiko?
Yes.
Okay. But based on what I rolled and the number I placed to each group, we'll start with Xander and Emiko. So you all go down I'm just gonna call it an elevator to make my life easier. You guys go back down the elevator and pretty much kind of break off in different directions from there. It's not very difficult to find the area that Ryder mentioned, because it's pretty obviously lit, and you can see the tents of multiple people. It is very set apart from the rest of the city, and you could see it from above. And I would like both of you or one of you, whichever is easier, to make me an investigation check.
Can I make this a charisma-based investigation check if I say that I'm asking around for information?
Sure.
Sick. That is...
I got a 13.
I got an 18.
Alright. Yeah, you ask a few people around, and they really have no problem telling you. They point to the end of the street, and the woman that you asked says, "Oh yeah, go see Serdan. He's right at the end on the right-hand side."
Also, just in case it makes a difference, I lied. That was actually a 21. I forgot I was proficient in investigation.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a very, high DC, so...
Yeah, I didn't figure it'd matter, but just in case. Yeah, we're gonna go see this motherfucker.
Yeah. Similarly to the other individuals you met, this is a Wisp Elf man who has, long, braided red hair, and he is currently working away at something. It looks like he's making a sword. And when you all approach, he looks up and just says, well met, travelers. And then continues working. He doesn't realize that you are stopping where he is.
Xander's gonna look at Emiko.
Emiko's gonna step forward. Excuse me. Can I get your help?
Oh! How rude of me. I am so sorry. And he'll, like, set the sword in a bucket of water, and you'll hear it, like, sizzle, and he'll stand upright, and he'll take off his gloves and, kind of, like, fold them into each other. Yes, hello, my name is Serdan. How may I be of service?
Before I get too far and I'm completely, like, wrong, you said that we have to find a blacksmith for the gems to enchant a weapon, right?
Yes, you have to find someone that has expertise in smith's tools.
Okay. She's gonna pull out the gem and kind of like hold it out to him and be like, I was wondering if you knew how to enchant weapons.
He holds out his hand and, you know, kind of like flinches it as if asking if he can hold the gem.
She'll give it.
Yeah, he'll look at it and go, oh, it's a thunderstone. Oh yes, I can definitely work with this. Very easily, actually, since it looks like this one has actually already been melded down, had all of the impurities filtered out of this. Another smith had this before it was handed to me. That takes out half the work. Yes, I can definitely do this. Can I see the item or weapon you are trying to enchant?
Yeah, and then Emiko will give the, chain scythe.
He, looks at it and looks at the gem and says, I can definitely do this. In fact, since the gem has already been filtered out and refined, I can complete it in only a few hours. He, oh, go ahead, my bad. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, that's great. How much would it cost?
He looks at you for a second, and it looks like he's doing, like, calculations in his head.
As he's doing that, Xander is going to say, yeah, so it is of dire importance that we get this weapon enchanted for my friend here, as it will be used to, of course, destroy the monsters of the fissures that have been plaguing this place.
Oh, of course. Your individuals where you're from use a currency that is gold pieces, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, he reaches under a bench and he takes out like a fucking abacus. And, he starts, doing some shit on it and, like counting to himself. And he goes, okay. If that would be... Oh, and with that, and he, like, flips another piece of it. 75 gold pieces in your currency.
Yeah, Emiko will pull it out of her coin bag and hand it over.
Thank you. And you'll see him take out like a lockbox from under the same bench and put it in, and then relock it and put it back under. And he says, yes, I can have this complete for you in no later than 3 hours.
Okay, I'll be back for it.
We, of course, very much appreciate your help. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you... Also, you should... if you're new to Verdanthus, which I can see that you are, if you need a place to have a warm bed and a nice drink, you should go over to the Crooked Arrow. My sister owns it. Tell her Serdan sent you, and she'll give you a discount on your rooms if you're a paying customer.
We appreciate the information. and we will likely take you up on it. Thank you. You have a pleasant day.
You as well. I will see you in 3 hours. And you see him, like, take the sword he was working on and literally, like, look at all of his benches and just fucking chuck it onto one of them and immediately start working on this. He actually seems rather excited to be working on it.
Come, Emiko. Let's check on Sir Elwood to see how the healing is going.
Yeah, speaking of which, kind of moving over to Vivian and Jay, who are being led to the hospital by Ambrose. Actually, rather than going down the elevator, he actually leads you towards one of the bridge that connects the karsts and starts walking along it. Despite the fact, it looks about as scary as, like, the connection of, like, the waterfall elevator and the landing, but when you walk on it, it is completely still. And he says, Sir Elwood, you said your name was. You said that you are a knight of Retka? Shit, it's Joey.
We'll never know.
Can't believe Joey fucking died.
Yes.
Whoa.
I, Joe Wood, am a knight of Retka. Do you have any other questions for me?
I forgot I was muted for your guys' section.
Yes, Retka. It's a country in the Tri-King Triangle.
That's not
On the material plane.
That's not what
No, it is not.
Rek is a city in Viron, you fool. Are you lying?
This fucking idiot doesn't know where he's from.
No,
What
but
a
I was fairly
dumbass.
certain that it was from the Tri-King Triangle at the very least, or somewhere fucking far.
It's fine. These Hicks don't know.
No.
It's Aetherspine Hicks.
You can make up anything.
Yeah, that is true.
I didn't think I was making a... This is real-life Joey rolling a persuasion check instead of deception because he thought he was telling the fucking truth.
No, Retka is an island city in Viron.
Oh, yeah, it's just south of... Yeah, it's south of there, sorry.
No, you're good.
I was getting my geography confused.
It's okay.
God damn it,
You've made,
Joey.
like...
Read the
I
fucking
knew it was an
script, you
island to the
jackass.
south. I just thought it was part of the Tri-King Triangle because obviously if it's an island, it's not part of any there in fucking Kelmra.
Read the script, you jackass.
No, it's okay.
I told you I had 30 pages and none of them were my lines.
It's okay. It's okay. You've made, like, 2 characters from the Tri-King Triangle also, despite me never running a game there. For you.
Because I like the idea of it. I like swamp.
I like swamp.
I like swamp.
It's the opposite of Sand Planet, which means it's my favorite.
I like swamp.
That's going in profound.
I like swamp.
I like swamp.
This ogre ass motherfucker.
But yeah, he goes, oh, a city.
I got layers.
Sorry, my sources are telling me that it's actually an island south of Viron in Kelmra.
My sources being the 30 years that I spent growing up there, of course.
Ambrose, thinking that you are joking with him, chuckles. And looks to Vivian and says, and you, Mistress Deshays, that sounds like a high title. Are you of high standing somewhere?
So right now you said that we're currently walking through. Is this like a crowded area where we are?
Not really. You see, like, ever so often some, like, guards, that literally just look like hunters. Like, they have, like, some pretty souped up leather armor with, like, bows on their backs.
Got it, yeah. And have we been walking through, like, other busy city streets before getting here?
A little. You're still on, like, the upper part of the karsts, and, like, it is still equally as busy up here as it is down below. It's just this is the upper part of the city that is connected by a bunch of bridges and catwalks and walkways between the karsts.
Yeah. So I think that Vivian has been just, like, sweating this whole time that she's been here, trying to, like, keep it together. Because this is the most exhausting experience she's ever had, being inside of a city, since she's never been in a place with a population more than 200. And, like, it's kind of the shell shock of the person going to New York City for the first time, and they like don't understand that you don't need to look at every single person you pass on the street. And so right now, Gail is getting dizzy on her shoulder, just like spinning around, trying to take everything in, because she hasn't figured out that she doesn't need to do that yet, and her anxiety is kind of peaking. So this person looks over and says, "And you, Mistress Vivian Deshays," and she says, "What?"
And he like kind of like recoils and goes, "I
Sorry.
apologize.
What did you ask me?
Oh, your name sounded very formal. I was asking if you were of high standing where you're from."
She does not make a joke about being a goblin and that she can never be high standing. She's 3 feet tall.
Yeah,
But she does like look back at Arethil, who's walking with them, and just says like, sort of.
Yeah, Arethil has been like, she has not said a word. Not in a way of like the DM forgot about her, but in a way of she is fucking amazed. Like she is like, ever so often she has whispered under her breath, "Holy shit. Whoa. What?" You know?
Yeah, and every time she does, Gail tries to see what she's looking at because it's like, oh my god, we're in danger. So Vivian's going through it right now.
But Ambrose goes, "Oh, well, that's definitely fascinating to me. I've only been in the wilds of anywhere in Kelmer. I've never been to civilization proper." Oh.
Vivian's already like lost track of this guy and is looking at everything else.
And maybe much to Vivian's probably horror, he leads you up to like basically the tippy top kind of flattened end of a karst, and there's like platforms built around the edges and also buildings carved into the rock itself. And this area is much busier than before. There are people running in and out of the building. Again, these rocks are very large, by the way. It's not like this is like a tiny platform sticking out. Like, this is a very large building. And on the like pathways outside, you see what Ambrose was talking about and Ryder were talking about, where there's like tents outside, because you can look into the building and see that it is full of just individuals that are not looking great. And you see people of all kinds. You see elves, you see Hjor, you see, Aetherkin, that all look so vastly different from each other, which is kind of how you can tell they're Aetherkin, in a weird way. Just people of all kinds that look like shit. And like someone like pushes by Ambrose and is like, "Excuse me," and he's like, "Oh, hey, watch it."
When you say they look like shit, you mean like these are the sick people, or they're all just like really ugly?
They're the sick people.
Okay, thanks. Are they really ugly though?
So, some of them might be a little bit. I don't know what Vivian's type is.
I can't believe you would say that. That's so mean. Yeah. I think she is going to freeze for a moment and then look up at Jay and say, "Sir Elwyn, where would you like to start?"
Well, at the beginning, of course.
A very good place to start.
If there's somebody that, got the disease first, I would like to cure them first, at least.
He, looks like, Ambrose looks like he's trying to find, like, someone important, and he stops somebody and goes, "Hey, I have help. On Ryder's order, can you let them past? I have other business to attend to." And, this individual, he, looks at Vivian and Jay and says, and then looks at Ambrose and then kind of like recognizes who he is and goes, and then realizes that he said Ryder and goes, "Oh, yes, right this way. You can get to your duties." And Ambrose goes, "Thank you." And he nods politely to Jay and Vivian and kind of like hurriedly jogs off.
As we're walking, can I find out more about this disease from Ambrose? Like, is it contagious? Is it what seem to be the symptoms, so on and so forth?
Yeah. When you get close to the hospital, he would have told you if you had asked, that basically the illness manifests as, it looks like a lot of, like, outwardly it looks like a lot of physical things, like throwing up, cramping, heat flashes, runny nose, coughing, teary eyes, nasty, like flu. But then he adds that there are, like an individual person basis, like flashes of wild magic. But it's like it'll only affect the person who's sick. So for instance, like randomly people will start burning. And I mean burning like their skin will be on fire. Or parts of their skin will be severely cold, so cold that it's encased in ice. Or vines will start to grow out of their skin, to a point where they literally have to be surgically removed. That level of stuff.
Got it. And did he say how it spreads?
If anyone inhales the smoke, I guess would be the best way to say it, from the fissures, these spores from the fissures, that is how they get sick. He said, based on all studies that they've done and all the quarantining they did, it doesn't spread from like a person who's sick to a person who isn't sick. It's primarily people affected by inhaling the spores of the fissures.
Okay. Have they found any effective ways to prevent inhaling spores?
They have. He says that he can equip you with the apparatuses that they wear to keep from inhaling it when you guys leave. He says that most of the people who have it are people where the fissures kind of came out of nowhere, and that's what they're worried about. Because if a fissure there's nothing stopping a fissure from opening up in the city. It just hasn't yet. And if everyone...
okay.
Yeah, and if everyone who can fight the issue gets horrendously ill...
So he said there were spores. Does that mean that these fissures are causing like growth around them? What do the spores create?
He explains it to you that they're... he says that he would tell you that he's only seen it once, and that basically it's like a small earthquake and then an eruption from the ground that emits a black smoke, and these this smoke contains these spores, and that it looks like roots try to grow out of it. Almost like the roots of a tree.
And what happens if a fissure is left for a long period of time? Do the roots continue to grow, or the spores continue to shoot out?
Yes. However, from the moment of them originally coming out, that growth gets a lot slower after it is fully surfaced. So at first it's like a earthquake where the shit's coming out all quickly and it's fucked up and scary. But then after the roots are a certain amount of the way grown out of the ground, they slow down dramatically. But the thing is that they still emit the spores. So it's hard to get near them if you don't have an apparatus.
Has anyone seen the bottom of one of these fissures?
No.
No one has attempted, or no one has returned?
A little bit of both.
What? How can it be both?
I'm just being fucked up.
I gotcha.
The issue is that with the spores, there is a lot of monsters, and that the apparatus to not breathe them in is a new thing. So it hasn't been around long enough for them to delve that deep, because they're primarily focused on making sure all the people that are sick don't die.
Got it. So it's on their agenda. They just haven't, we're just getting to that point now.
Yeah, this is a kind of rising issue. It's not an issue where it's like been at its climax for a while. This is like this has been kind of the last 2 months, and all the information we have is probably about a week old.
Got it. That makes sense. So I'm sorry, you said this was a week old at this point? I was typing.
I was saying that as a joke, but the issue has been going on. Yeah. The issue has been going on for, they say the equivalent of your 2 months, because time is weird here.
Sure.
And they will not give you a long-winded explanation on how time works in the Aetherspine. But
Vivian does not ask.
Yeah, but, they say in your time it would be about 2 months.
I look back and I make sure that Arethel is taking furious notes, and if she's not, I'm going to hit her with something.
Oh yeah, she is. She's been taking notes since the moment you came through the portal.
Yeah, Vivian always says she's going to hit her with something and has yet to do so. But
yeah, Arethel just kind of doesn't want to find out. After getting kidnapped by harpies, which said that they were going to eat her, if someone says they're going to do something to her, she just kind of goes, okay, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. I'm not above using trauma to get science done. Okay. So this is on the way to the hospital?
Yeah.
And does that mean there's just like sick people out and about out here? You said that everybody out here looks like shit and they're ugly?
They have, so the hospital itself is so full that they've had to resort to medical tents outside as well.
Triage tents.
Yeah, but they have proper separation. It isn't like there are just sleeping bags all over the floor and you have to step over bodies to get anywhere. It's still organized.
So the people that look like shit are the ones that are better off than the ones inside.
Yeah. The people...
Well, they must be really ugly in there.
The people outside are... doing marginally better, hence why they're allowed to kind of just be outside in a tent. But, you can kind of see into the hospital, and the people in there look real bad.
Yeah.
You actually see one person has, an entire bush sprouting out of their arm.
Hey, just like Arethel. Okay, yeah. Let's head inside the hospital. Jay, you have any thoughts or any questions before we jump in?
Not particularly. I just want to see what the hell is going on. If it is a disease that I am resistant to, we might be able to even take it out of the source if possible. But let's focus on getting these people healed up first.
Yeah, the individual that Ambrose said, hey, take him to the most important shit. He walks in and he says, so the worst victim we have is actually Nettlekeep's elder. She has not been doing too good. And we've tried a lot. We've had our strongest potions, poultices. We've had individuals use magic to no prevail, and we only have what we have available to us at this time.
We understand. Take us to her. I think we wish to at least see if we can understand more.
Yeah, he will lead you to the very, very back of the hospital. And you see, do either of you speak Sylvan?
I do.
I do not.
Jay, you will see that, basically this is the, fantasy equivalent of the ICU, right?
Yeah.
This is where shit gets bad, and there's signs that indicate that. And he'll lead you into this room, and it's more like a hallway, and then he branches off into a very specific room, and he'll knock at first, and he'll say, "Hyacinth, we're coming in." And he opens the door, and the individual you see on a bed looks, the scene is pretty grotesque. you see a fairy, and she has long pink hair that you can see like is so long that she's almost kind of like laying on it because there's so much. And her very small form has experienced a lot of trauma. You can see on her left arm that there is evidence of like thorns growing out of her skin where they have had to like cut them down or cut it out. So there's like pock marks and indents in her skin that are, kind of healed up from all sorts of salves and ointments and magic. And you can see that on like her right side that there are burns all the way on her face, down the side of her shoulders, down her arms, down her leg, down her stomach. And she does look a little older in her years, but you can see that one of her eyes is completely missing on the right hand side. And there's like evidence that it has been recently removed, and like that has healed. And she very weakly goes to sit up, and she like coughs and says, "Hello, have you brought more medicine?" I think what we have is better than medicine, Hyacinth. To not keep the room crowded, I'll let you do what you need to. And he'll, back out of the room.
This is an old woman, like venerable, like...
Yeah.
This could be her deathbed kind of old.
Yeah, and also she's a fairy. So she's having all this trauma to her very, very small body. But she gathers enough strength to sit up and just says, "Oh, I've never seen that much armor before."
Well, I've never seen anything quite like this before, so this is a first for everybody, isn't it?
I guess so. I've seen a lot of things lately that are unlike what I'm used to.
Could you tell me perhaps something that you are more comfortable with? Somebody that you are used to, maybe?
My daughter. I really miss my daughter.
Go ahead and talk about her to me for a little bit.
And as she is going on about her daughter, I would like to do an examination. I want to see if this is actually something that I can cure with my lay on hands.
Make me a medicine check, but use your charisma.
While you're doing that, Erithil is going to help you. While the two of them are working on that, Vivian would like to study the progression of the disease and see if there's anything she can learn about the treatment for it, and if it's anything she's familiar with.
If I'm using charisma for this instead of wisdom, it's a 23.
It's a 23?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Vivian, also make me a your choice of a medicine check or an arcana check.
That'll be a medicine check, and that'll be a 29.
Yeah, so, Jay, you know that if you just use some of your lay on hands, that, you can cure diseases, and it looks like the case with this one as well. However, you would have to do it multiple times.
Once for, each stage of progression, so to speak?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, it's normally some diseases are tame enough where you just do it once and it clears the whole disease. This disease kind of mutates and stacks on itself. So, for instance, obviously some of her injuries are caused by the aforementioned wild magic surges. You basically have to use it once for every time that has happened to this individual. Until eventually it clears out.
Well, I currently have 5 uses of it, so...
Yeah, and then, Vivian, similarly, you find out that basically how this disease gets worse is these magical surges. So, based on how she's talking about, because she's an old woman, so she, talks about her daughter, rambles a little bit of how annoying this sickness is, talks about her daughter, rambles about how she has itches in places she never thought she would have itches, rambles about her daughter, back and forth. And the sickness at first starts out like a regular flu. But every time that kind of magical surge happens, the disease gets exponentially worse. And the thing is that some of the effects are not noticeable at first. So it might be with Hyacinth here that the reason her sickness is so bad is because whatever happened in some of the beginning surges was not outwardly noticeable. So it got to a point where it got this bad, where half of her body has been set on fire and she has had barbs grow out of her skin.
Okay. So I have another question for you based on that. Hopefully letting this 29 roll. One of the things that Vivian wanted to learn is if she is familiar with any sort of disease that is like this or any sort of alchemical solution to it. Based on what you just told me, the medicine that she takes is kind of similar to or prevents almost a similar thing.
Yeah, in a way. You know that it's not exactly the same, but you can tell that this is related to the corruption that happens when someone is afflicted by demonic possession. The only kind of mix in here is that this has wild magic surges involved, but that makes sense because you're in the Aetherspine where wild chaotic magic is kind of rampant, whereas in the Abyss it's negative energy that causes the mutation. So it's kind of the same, but at the same time inverse, the two sides of the same coin type of deal.
Sure. Spoilers, by the way. It's demonic possession. Da-da-da. So, too bad Johnny's not here. So, yes. So in her mind, what that means is that the way that the magic potion that she has now works is that it is effectively a pure limbic energy. Mm-hmm. And essentially she drinks it in its sort of very diluted form to expel any excess aether that she has picked up over time, sort of almost like clearing her cache in a way. Is this something that she could modify is this something she can modify her existing medicine to make something that would either, if not prevent these surges entirely, at least slow them down dramatically?
Yes. I would say similarly to how your medicine prevents your affliction, it would kind of prevent theirs. It wouldn't make it go away entirely, but it would make it go away long enough where if you two are communicating, Jay could do his thing, and it won't get worse as he tries to do it.
Okay. So, I think Vivian is going to stick around here for a little bit, but whenever Jay is done with his thing, she wants to find the people in charge and teach them about what she does and let them know essentially what she found out and compare notes. Because the benefit of her potion is that it is time-consuming to make, but extremely easy to make, especially in batches, and very cheap as well. So,
well, have you found out everything you need to on your end, Nurse Deshays?
I think so. Miss Hyacinth, thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. It's been very helpful.
Oh, of course. And any opportunity to talk about my daughter is one that I will take without hesitation.
I'm sorry, I was busy. What was your daughter's name?
Her name is Blue.
Blue, like the color?
Yes, but it is spelled with 2 O's instead.
Oh my god, she's an imaginary friend. That's historic. I don't expect anybody to get that immediately.
I got that.
I got it.
I did not, but I do think you're right. I would bet my left leg that the daughter is 100% dead. But we'll see. Because that's just that good tragedy.
Yeah, actually, okay, make me, Vivian, make me a insight check.
Hell yeah. I'd love to. Natural 1, don't worry about it.
Damn.
I rolled a natural 1 and a 1 on the guidance roll for a total of 9. So don't worry about it.
I wish I could assist you, but this is not a wisdom character.
No worries.
Yeah, the best thing you get is, like, there's definitely a weird, like, connotation behind the way she talks about her daughter.
Yeah, I mean, Vivian has had a very weird upbringing in that she has been around many people as they get old and die and is with them in their final moments as a caretaker in a small town. So I feel like she's, regardless of whatever it is, at least it's bringing her comfort in this moment. So, yeah, I think if we're done in here, I want to step out, find Ambrose, and have him take me to the most important or smartest person here.
Before you do that, actually, I'm going to lift up the visor ever so slightly, and I'm going to conjure a mouth that I can whisper to you with. Are you sure you don't want me to, fix this right now, or?
Can you fix this right now?
I absolutely can, yes.
How many of those charges do you have?
I have 5 of them. I can use, I think 3 is all it would take.
You think 3?
I think so.
She has at least 3 surges that have happened with the heat and the cold and the thorns. I am willing to bet that she had at least 1 or 2 or 3 more before that weren't noticeable.
3 would at least get her back on her feet and moving around, I'm sure.
Sure. Go for it. Vivian looks over to Arethil, who is still taking notes, and just gives her like a good nod. Like, hell yeah.
Yeah, Arethil also looks a little, weird. As in, like, she's thinking long and hard. She looks at, like, the woman and sees the fucked up, like, indents on her arms.
Yeah.
And then she
Thorn
looks down at her own arms.
Miss Callowed?
Huh? What?
I need you to take notes, please.
Right.
Pay attention, Sir Elwood's about to do something important.
Okay.
Thank you. And then she, like, I think the thank you was almost like a couple second, like, afterthought. She said, I need you to pay attention. And a couple seconds later, shit, sorry, thank you.
Yeah. And, Jay, you use 3 uses of Lay on Hands?
Yeah, I'll use 3 for now, and if it looks like she needs more, I'll use as many until it's gone.
Yeah, you see what does your Lay on Hands look like when you use it?
I can do a little bit of a narrative. So he's going to approach the patient. The visor is still lifted, and he's going to say, excuse me, miss. To the patient on the bed. And he's going to lay his gauntleted hands on her shoulders, and he's going to ask, does the metal make you feel uncomfortable, miss?
No, it's very cool to the touch.
Good. Ideally, this will help relieve the pain a little bit. Bear with me for a moment. And he's going to release this sort of silverish light that has a bit of a pale glow on the edges. And it's going to sort of trace along each of the affected areas of the body. Ideally making it sort of recede in a way. As this sort of silverish glow. It looks almost like incandescent white light, I guess is the best way that I would describe it.
Yeah, and as you see this light kind of filter through her, you'll see that the little pock marks in her skin, the holes start to close, and you see the burn marks. They're still there. There's definitely going to be scarring since it's like magical fire, but they don't look as bad. You know, they don't look like they're days old, despite the fact that it's obvious she's been receiving intense medical care. You see those kind of fade into scars, and you see some of the color return to her skin. She has very rosy cheeks, and She definitely still looks sick, but the worst part of it seems to have been taken from her, and she inhales very sharply as if it's the first time she has gotten to take a good breath in a long while, and she just goes... And you also notice that she starts to look younger by a considerable amount. One of the wild surges appears to have aged her.
Oh. That's...
Well, you're not a senile old woman at all. Look at you. The very picture of young and healthy. Well, to a degree, anyways.
Yeah, now she looks like she's in, like, her, mid to late 40s.
Oh, I feel so much better already.
And she, like...
Is there anywhere else that feels out of order?
I still feel like I have a bit of a cough, but... Oh, I can breathe again.
Then cough as much as you need. And if you're still feeling sick on the morrow, go ahead and let the doctor know, and I'll be back to see if I can help a little bit more.
You are excellent. What was your name again, my friend?
I don't believe I ever introduced myself. My name is Sir J. Elwood. I'm a knight of Retka and a paladin.
You are the son of miracles, my friend.
Something I would certainly like to believe.
May the tender garden smile upon you. Yes, it will bless you in due time.
I'm glad to have been of service.
Thank you. I think I will get some sleep. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I can actually relax and rest and feel better. Thank you, Son of Miracles.
And she also looks towards Vivian, and she says,
"And thank you, young Sprout. You look very wise."
Eat this. I hand her a berry.
Oh.
And the berry is like half the size of her head.
She can take her time?
Yeah, she like holds it with two hands like a fucking burger and starts taking little bites out of it.
Borger.
Berger? Never mind.
Burger.
So, yeah, I think that she wants to ask her 16,000 questions. However, there are more important things to do right now, and like every time that she watches Sir Elwood work, it's like his bedside manner makes her look like a chump. And so she's just like taking mental notes as well. But yeah, let's get out of here. Let's finish that whole berry, and then she'll leave and find someone.
Yeah. You actually see that, like, by the time this whole thing is over, that Ambrose is back, and he has Alicia with him, and they're, like, talking. And he sees you two leave the back of the hospital, and he kind of, like, jogs forward and goes, How did it go?
Putting the visor back on and shifting into the formless figure once again, Jay is going to say,
"Well, I think that my side of things went very well, actually. I learned quite a bit. I believe Miss Deshays did as well, if you would like to explain some of your findings."
I need to find the smartest person in this hospital.
That would... He looks to Alicia and says, "That's your bit."
Yes. I can take you to her. Follow me.
And she'll actually go back outside, and there's like a winding staircase that kind of like clings to the walls of the hospital, leading you further up.
Oh, while we're walking, Erisel will feel a tap on her elbow, and
what?
Sorry, feels a tap on her elbow, and Gale is looking up at her while Vivian is continuing to walk forward. And Viv just says, "You okay?"
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just, seeing all these people, there's something about it that reminds me of, well, me.
Do you need to throw up?
No.
If you feel you need to throw up, just get out and do it. Don't try and hold it in, because then you just do it on the patient. It's a disaster.
Oh, okay.
Write that down.
Okay, and she quickly writes it down.
Good. If you feel anything else, let me know. We'll take care of it. I'm not actually going to hit you, by the way. I hope you do understand that.
She smiles and says, "I do."
Good. I'll hit you if you didn't. And continues to walk forward.
And Alicia leads you, and as she's walking up, she starts adjusting the fluff around her neck and trying to tidy herself. And she goes,
"Oh, okay. Don't mess it up. Okay. So, I am taking you to our shaman. She is effectively the high healer. She has been shut away in her office for the last 3 days, trying to figure something out. She is the younger sister of our fair Wisp mother. So, I guess keep that in mind. Not that I assume that you would do anything outright offensive or rude or anything like that, but, I don't want to not warn you.
I appreciate it. What is her name?
Her name is Celeste.
I like that name.
I like that game.
She would prefer if you just call her Cel, though.
I think her name's actually Madeline, and Celeste is the mountain.
Dumb.
It is? Sure. So, standing in front of theirs, we're outside of her door right now.
Yeah, and she's sitting there whispering to you, and this is a sliding screen door, that's and you see it slide open, and you see this a very ethereal looking elven woman. I mean, she has very long ears that have multiple charms and adornments and piercings on them, and she has very long silvery blonde hair that has a green ombre at the bottom, and it's in a very, very thick chunky braid because she has so much hair. And she is wearing a very, very ornate set of robes that also kind of puff out, and she opens the sliding doors and says, "You're aware that I can hear you, right? This door is made of paper. It doesn't soundproof anything."
We are aware now. Your name is Cel. My name is Mistress Vivian Deshays. I've spent some time with Hyacinth, and we have some things we want to report. I also have some information from the material world that I believe will help you.
Oh, excellent. Please, come in. I'll make tea.
Yeah. And if you want to roleplay this out, we can, but if not, Vivian would just explain the potion making process to her.
Yeah.
And tell her how she thinks it could be adapted for wild magic as opposed to abyssal magic.
Yeah, as you are saying that, she is literally doing it. Perfect measurements.
She's already...
Yeah,
she's already been doing it,
no,
or she is
she's doing
it.
She's doing it as you're saying it. Preparing everything
perfect.
as you're saying. And she has probably the most beautiful potion-making setup you've ever seen in your entire life. It's perfect.
Oh my god.
Literally, it is, the way that she has it all set up, the way that it is perfectly set up for, the potion-making equivalent of, the scientific method, how she can just walk along the line of this kind of long, curved, crescent moon-shaped workbench and just do everything in order perfectly. And you see that she has racks that are 4 feet tall of just jars or sacks, if the ingredient needs it, of potion ingredients, that they are perfectly organized in alphabetical order and also in order of what their use is.
I think Vivian is feeling this really conflicting feeling where she is so like admires this setup because it's gorgeous. She's like, everything that I would need would be within arm's reach. Everything would be perfect. And there's this part of her that's like, I made a potion the other day out of like a frog and a shoelace, basically, because that's like what I do as a witch. And then there's another part of her that feels guilty that she feels bad about that because she's like, you only need a frog and a shoelace. Why would you need anything else?
Yeah. But there's still...
And it's just kind of experiencing that.
At the same time, there is still this level of, like, chaos for it. Because, like, one of her vials just says bypasser spit.
Yeah, of course, you need that.
Like, yeah, like someone, like, spit on the street and she caught it and was like, the fuck are you doing? You know?
Why are you wasting this?
Yeah.
Give me your eyelashes while you're at it.
Yeah.
I get it. Wait, are you a cousin to anyone? No? Get the fuck out of here. Don't need your eyelashes.
Yeah, and she, at the end of it, obviously the potion making process is time consuming, so she hasn't made it, but she has literally everything set up where she can just, the moment you walk out, just start. And she goes, perfect. This is very helpful. Unfortunately, the line of research that I was doing was more akin to the frumal fever overseas, because there are similarities, but obviously that was the wrong direction to go.
It makes sense, though. However, this is something that I have some experience in, which, by the way, Erithil and Jay have also just been standing there while Vivian talks in detail about what it's like to have demonic possession, so do with that what you will. But...
Do you need a protection from evil spell, or...?
I am fine.
Alright.
I understand. For the abyssal side of things, though, have you tried adding...
Yes.
Well, just in case, and she, like, plucks a vial, and, like, it's, like, the bark from, like, one of the trees from the, like, trees from the Aetherspine. And she goes, take this.
Yeah, she'll take it.
Yeah. Take this, just in case. It definitely adds a, It won't necessarily make the potion better, it'll make you feel better about taking it. Trust me.
I appreciate that. Yoink.
And, she will, Sel will say, right, well, this is very, very helpful. And she looks at Jay and goes, you know, I suggested paladins, but apparently we don't have those in the goddamn Aetherspine. Of course we don't.
You don't?
Not many.
Lysel!
Seems like it would be a good time to get some.
Oh, trust me. I spent a little bit of time in Kelmra. I actually lived in Northreath for a few years. It was a lovely place. Then, of course, duty calls and my sister calls me back because the other shaman, the high healer, well, she, like, slides her finger across her neck, died.
I think Vivian just, like, stands for a moment and thinks, and then says, what can you tell us about this prisoner that they are keeping a secret?
Ooh.
Just assumes that the sister would know something.
I know he's a cute little one. I also know that he won't talk. That was actually something that I was working on before. The only thing is that it's, lightly against my ethics, so I haven't told my sister that I've made any progress. The thing is that while there are truth spells and whatnot, he seems to be very good at resisting those things, considering that they've tried it on him 3 times. Even then, even with a truth spell, he doesn't need to talk. However, she pulls out like a little vial that has a kind of like sickly clouded purple liquid. This is a potion that would get him to feel inclined to speak.
Can I ask a question as well? Because I have another boon from the material realm.
What is that?
Do you have a potion that could make him fall into a very deep dream?
Oh, that would be easy. I could whip that up in 10 minutes using a bystander's eyelash and a little bit of my own spit. But
if you could please do that, that would be very helpful. I have someone who can get him to talk without realizing it.
I'll keep that in mind. That makes me feel a lot better than she holds up the potion. This. Despite the fact that I am a denizen of the Aetherspine, the idea of using mind control magic on someone is,
Understood.
I don't like it. Yeah. Yeah, I'll put that on my bucket list. I'll put it on my bucket list that Verdanthus needs more paladins. I will also put it on my bucket list that I need to make a sleep poultice before the end of the night.
Not a poultice, please.
Not a poultice? Oh, you don't like them either? Neither do I.
No.
Like...
Entirely overrated. She spits on the ground, and then... Actually, no, she spits in a jar and hands it over.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
No, totally. But my sister keeps requesting them. I don't think she understands how much of a waste of time it is.
Just give her a cell. They never know the difference.
Oh, let me tell you. Never mind. I'll get stuck in it for hours. Sorry. I don't meet a kindred spirit that often.
Yeah.
And
Jay, you got anything else you want to ask here?
Well, what I was going to say was, I currently have a squire in training, not quite a fully fledged paladin just yet, so it might be a bit of time before they're able to assist in my healing endeavors, but if you are still in need of a healer, I can probably get through at least a few patients a day, so long as they have been newly infected. We can stop the rise of those in a dire state.
That would be something that I would have you ask my head doctor. Of course, I agree at any given time that is a good idea and something that you should do, but I would ask my head doctor, you've probably spoken to him, if he took you to Hyacinth, I would speak to him, because I have left all operations to him while I am up here trying to work out a cure. And he will tell you the patients that he deems should have this treatment first. And he's a good boy.
Right.
I promise you that he will give you the right instructions.
Well, we appreciate your time, and I appreciate you taking this seriously and working so hard. She gestures over to the potions.
Oh, yes, of course. Just in case, and she'll grab, like, a bottle or 3, and she'll look and go, is it just 3 of you? How many of you are there?
There are 7 of us.
7 in total?
You'll see her kind of, like, very casually, like, pivot and turn around behind her and go into a cupboard, and she'll take out 4 more potions, and she will put them in, like, a sack that looks like it's made out of a giant leaf with drawstrings, and hand it to Vivian. And it is 7 potions of greater healing.
Greater healing? Nice. Yeah, while she's doing that, she takes it and just, like, out of habit, dunks it into the bag, and, like, starts to show her what the bag is, but then it's like, no, I can't, we'll be here all night. And I think that's it.
Yeah, and she'll be like, well, darlings, I hope you have an excellent day. I have some potions to start making. I should have a batch of 30 doses by the end of the evening.
Very good. Yeah, we'll leave.
Yeah, and she, like, slides the screen door shut behind you, like, the moment your heels are outside of the threshold. And she'll start working, and Alicia, who has not said a goddamn thing, like, when she steps out with you, like, suddenly goes, ah, okay, I feel better.
She can still hear you. I'm walking.
Does she know to look us up at the Crooked Arrow if she needs us?
What's the Crooked Arrow?
Oh, never mind. We weren't there for that. I thought that was before. I thought that was before we split off. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm with you.
Well,
we really didn't make a plan to meet up. We'll just figure it out. Maybe we'll all die in the city separately.
Well.
And then our souls will get put back to the material plane instead. It's like a reverse heaven kind of thing. If you die in the Aetherspine, nothing really happens.
You don't die in real life?
That's what you think. That's what you think. If no one helps your soul, you get turned into an Aetherkin in 200 years.
Oh yeah, I forgot there's that whole reincarnation shit.
No, whatever. But yeah, we'll
fine.
head back and I guess head down to try and find this guy. But yeah. And I assume that's probably when we would run into the other two because they weren't that far behind us, I don't think.
Yeah, like literally as they're like leaving the marketplace and you come down from being up in the upper city, you four kind of like merge past. And that leads me to Lysel and Johnny. I would like both of you to make me your choice of investigation or survival checks, and then roleplay amongst each other for like 2 seconds. I very suddenly and very violently have to use the restroom.
That's just to shit hard.
Everybody drink. We should make a drinking game.
Every time Jazz has to violently shit that you drink?
Yeah, every time Jazz has to violently shit, we all drink. Which then leads to us having to violently piss. So it's a cyclical problem.
That's sad. So here's my idea. We go in, we kill the creatures, we close the fissure, repeat until we're done. Any objections?
Wait, what? What was this? What?
I mean, that sounds about as much as I could come up with.
So, step 1, we go to the fissure. Step 2, we kill all of the creatures near the fissure.
Okay.
Step 3, we close the fissure.
Got it.
And repeat until we are done.
That seems less like a plan than more like a goal.
Maybe if you're...
Yeah, how are we gonna close the fissure after we kill all of the shit in the fissure?
I mean, we have some strong characters with us, so you just... Oh.
Yeah, but we don't have, like, an Aetherspine grenade to just chuck into the fucking E-hole, like his gears or something.
I also really like this plan because there's no indication that the fissures are going to stop, so it's going to be like, all right, session 246. You guys find another fissure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
That sounds so fun.
Jesus.
You probably need to interrogate the guy to figure out how to close the fissures.
We have wires.
All right, so that is a 15 survival and a 23 investigation. How
was the shit before we continue?
I literally just had to pee. And I haven't used the bathroom during a session in like 4 sessions. But you know, they're so mean to me. And you basically...
I asked how your shit was. I was showing concern.
Thank you, Groove. And Lysel and Johnny, you guys wanted to, from like the outer edges of the city, kind of see if you can figure out any more information about what's going on.
Yeah, we want to get a lead on these fissures. So you find something to kill.
Okay. So 15 survival, 23 investigation. So obviously you two aren't going to the fissure itself by yourselves, just kind of looking around the edges of the city to see if you can figure out any more information. You both find information separately based on the checks. Johnny, you are looking around and you find something very, very interesting. Obviously, they told you, like, what fissures look like, that it's like an eruption in the ground, and you can see, like, roots coming out of it that look all nasty. But when you're traveling near the edge of the city, you find something very weird that probably would not have been noticed unless someone, you find yourself looking for details that others don't. And you notice that there is an area in the ground where the grass has kind of, I don't want to say died, but thinned out. And you can see that there is like an area where it's just dirt. And maybe to the regular eye, this wouldn't look any strange. But to you, it's very weird that the rest of the area is very grassy, very pretty, and very nice. And then here, there's just a random dirt patch. And you notice that the ground kind of has some grooves in it, like the starting of a crack.
Grooves?
There's some grooves in it?
There's some grooves in it?
There's some grooves in it.
Look, Johnny, it's a wild groove.
Interesting. Does it seem like these things are spreading or static?
It seems static, but what you can gather from this, you'd have to see more of them to be sure, but it might be that there is like a pre-stage to these fissures where you can see them before an eruption happens. Now that's, obviously this is not a fissure and it hasn't developed. It's just, that's like a quick hypothesis you can make, seeing that there is a very sudden and drastic change in the environment when you're investigating a very sudden and drastic change in the environment. Because also in the grooves, they appear to be like very dark in color. Like obviously they're just cracks, but you also see kind of like it almost looks like there is a dark liquid that is like kind of pooling out and hardening in it. It's just something you notice based on the description you heard of the fissures when they erupt, that this kind of looks like what the ground looks like right before it cracks open from an earthquake, except right now there's no earthquake.
Interesting.
And
do you see that, Lysel? Those grooves in the ground.
Yeah, it does look quite strange.
Are they features of the environment, or perhaps omens of these fissures?
Perhaps with more information, we'll be able to find out.
Speaking of more information, Lysel, in a similar, kind of in the same area that Johnny is, obviously you two are keeping close together, but you obviously take a wider scope of the environment, looking more into like the natural side of things. And you notice that near this area that Johnny pointed out to you, that the plants, it's very slight. You are just able to see this, meaning that the DC was 15. That the plants in this area are slightly of lesser health. You notice that like maybe the leaves in a plant aren't as hydrated, so the leaves are a little dry to the touch. Not so much that it's like noticeable to the naked eye, but you notice that there is a shift where some of the foliage in the area, surrounding this kind of breakage in the grass, is slightly not as healthy as the rest. But it's so minuscule that it is very hard to notice without like literally going around and touching the leaves for comparison.
It does appear that it is draining the local wildlife of its natural energy.
Intriguing. Could that perhaps be where these fissures draw their energy from? The source of the corruption?
Possible.
The greatest evil is wanton consumption, certainly.
Maybe there's some kind of a way to isolate it from its energy source.
Indeed. Perhaps if we were to imagine these fissures as terrible, sickly roses, we could sever them at the root. But what technology would be necessary to perform such a task, I am horribly unaware. Johnny is going to now send out his familiar. Have it go a bit further, as it is expendable.
And what is your familiar?
So the bats that he coughs up, the familiar is just a stabilized form of these. He saw how Vivian and Xander would stabilize a spirit and used the same technique to stabilize the spirit he creates when he casts a spell. It is essentially an extension of himself.
Yeah, and as you send your bat in, like, do you send your bat in like the direction that Ryder told you? The
following the grooves, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, do you look through your familiar's vision, or do you just ask it to report?
Within 100 feet, sure. Past that, no dice.
Okay. Yeah, your familiar does a quick swoop, and when it returns to you, it reports that the grooves specifically don't lead anywhere. They kind of like are confined to this like area surrounding you. They don't travel any further than this kind of epicenter where they are a little more obvious. And it also tells you that while it managed to keep out of reach, there are in the shadows of the trees a little bit of a ways away, especially in the direction that Ryder told you about, there is like an influx of activity of creatures kind of stalking in the woods.
Great. And do we have a good idea of where, like, if we were to start from here, where we would walk to find the fissure?
Yeah, the Ryder, as his name was, he told you that at the kind of edges of where this area remains stabilized, to the north of the city, is where they know that a fissure that is, about to open or is opening is.
Got it, yeah. So Johnny's going to instruct the familiar, an extension of himself, to get as close to the fissure as possible and get as much information as possible until he is lost or killed.
Yeah,
And at the same time, he's going to use a sending coin. How do we want to distribute those, by the way? All right, I'll assume Johnny has one for now. And he'll shoot a sending toward Xander.
Yeah.
Dear Xander, Prince Xander, would you purchase me some incense for the purposes of summoning a familiar? Thank you, my dear. Kiss, kiss. XOXO. Johnny.
There's a long pause. And then I think Xander responds, understood, darling. I will get that right away for you. Are you feeling well?
He's just let you cast sending, right?
Yeah.
So I can't respond to that.
You can.
Oh, can I? They just let us cast sending, though.
So are these like walkie-talkies, or are they sending stones? Because sending stones is one way each way.
Oh yeah, I did say that these ones were unlike the ones you got in the last games where they were one way. My bad.
But we have 20 of them. There's 6 of us, so we'll assume that we all have 3.
Johnny's not going to waste a coin on that, though. He's more than okay, and Xander should know that. Yeah, we'll wait out until familiar dies or comes back. No, it's gonna die, so we'll assume it's gonna give the information whenever it gets back. Anything else in this area?
Not that you can find. I don't want to say that the area just outside the city is completely pacified. There's also other creatures lurking in the area, but they're not hostile. You notice that there are creatures that you can probably tell based on your 23 investigation probably normally wouldn't linger this close to the city and are even afraid to, but it's better than being with whatever the fuck is out there.
Got it. Yeah. Lysel, do you have any more business in this area, Lysel?
What? You notice that Lysel has been looking generally content with the plane that they find themselves in. Almost like a strange sense of homeliness they didn't know they had.
Your demeanor is quite different from usual lifestyle. For what purpose is this?
It feels much more calm here. Less things to quarrel about.
Johnny seems like he doesn't understand this. In what way?
Oh, it's just... I often feel very tumultuous, and this... And they just kind of gesture to their environment, the emerald green grass and the sparkling on the wind. Everything about this, it feels like I'm home again. But I have no memories of this place.
Could it be your nature? You are from this plane, are you not?
Oh, at least that's what I've been told.
That intrigues me. You failed to share this with us, although an opportunity did not arise. How far did you come from the Aetherspine to Teosia?
That, I'm afraid, I'm not sure. I woke up one day in the wonderful land of Kelmra by myself, and after a great deal of time, my mentor found me.
You have no memories from your time before Kelmra?
None whatsoever.
Oh. We are spirits far closer than I initially believed. How then do you know that you are of the Aetherspine?
Well, I have a lot of reasons to believe in the things my master told me. It's undeniable, the connection I have with this plane. It's like I've found a piece of me that's been long lost.
Johnny feels a strange comfort in this kindred spirit, but also a sense of longing, as he knows not what he feels. And they're going to begin walking back. Tell me, how did your master find you?
Perhaps by fate, perhaps by fortune. I know not. I remember despair, and then it stopped, and there they were.
Does that mean that this could be your home?
I think it seems you have my home.
Little in the way of memories, but much in the way of feelings.
I think it would be nice to live here, but maybe not yet. I have a lot to learn.
Certainly. We must not rest until evil has been cleansed from this world. Though I am certainly curious as to your origins, and we may not revisit the Aetherspine for quite some time. Perhaps after these fissures are dealt with, we could see if any other similar areas pique these familiar emotions in you.
If we have time for it, I would like to hope that we'll be together for quite a while.
Perhaps. Hopefully.
Hey, Johnny, have you had a chance to peer into any of my dreams lately?
Merely one, in which you dueled your master. Why do you ask? And may I say it was a scintillating experience.
I asked because I was hoping maybe you could have ascertained information as to where they might have gone to. It always feels like I'm chasing them, and but I can't quite catch them.
Very well. Tonight, then, I shall manifest in your dreams, and mayhaps we can catch this individual together.
Who knows? Maybe she'll know more about what's going on here.
Quite the consideration. Ideally, we do lack in methodology to close these fissures, don't we?
Yeah,
I wonder if they, as manifestations of evil, could be consumed like evil. And his mouth begins to water at the thought.
Even if that may be, hopefully whatever it is they have going on with them, with sickness of sorts, isn't able to spread via consumption.
Creation of evil is never good, certainly. This consuming sickness, I must wonder why the individuals are afflicted with it.
Perhaps Vivian and Johnny were able, not Johnny, but Jay were able to find out.
I'm right here, what do you mean?
Well, you're a smart lad. I'm sure you could figure it out if you thought about it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Perhaps. Shall we meet up with them and see?
I think we should all compare notes, yeah. Let's go find them.
We didn't agree on when or where to meet up, but thankfully I left a scent marker on Vivian. Johnny's gonna deeply inhale. Does he know where the scent marker is? The answer is no, because he just made that up. But can you try and figure out where they are?
I think Lysel's just going to hold up a coin of sending and just kind of like peter it back and forth in their hands. Click it between their bony fingers.
Great idea. Pulling out a coin.
I'm just going to start spamming Eldritch Blasts into the air.
You have coins of sending. You don't need to do that.
I light a building on fire so that way they can see the smoke and know where we are.
I don't want to waste the magic in the coins ascending.
Yeah, they only regenerate every day. Come on, this is a cantrip.
Yeah, come on now. What if we need them? Okay. Yeah, sending. I see the Eldritch Blast in the air. Gonna put a sending stone to Vivian. Oh, Vivian. Post haste. Make your way to the pillar that is continually shooting up and falling down. I believe that is our reconnaissance point.
You hear back, what? It's so fucking loud when he does this. We're going to the Crooked Arrow. Meet us there.
Unfortunately, I can't respond. Yeah, Johnny's gonna go to the Crooked Arrow.
Yeah. When you and Lysel re-enter back into the city,
it's on lockdown because there was an active shooter firing rounds into the sky.
Firing stone pillars into the air.
But eventually, you find the Crooked Arrow, and it's a very nice tavern, a very like dim lit, relaxing kind of vibe. You can see that there are individuals, I don't want to say partying, but, kind of being fucking silly and drunk from their long days of whatever they're doing. You see that there are a few members of the guard that are there that obviously they're off of work, so they are drinking the night away. And there are like a bunch of potted plants and like those woven hangers dangling from the ceiling in some places. In some of these like dangling potted plant holders, there's no plants in the pots, but there's like fairies sitting in them, like they're like swinging chairs. And there's like these small little orbs of light that kind of just like flow throughout the room, adding a little bit of extra light to it that like twinkle in many different colors, like blue and green and pink and yellow. And the bar, it appears that like the underside of the counter is somehow magically lit to kind of like glow a very comforting orange, and there are several people behind the bar. And when you all walk in, you hear all of the voices of all the people that work there at the same time, like, welcome in! And like kind of like a chorus.
Quick point of order, Chas, before we all meet up. Xander would have done, as Johnny requested, getting 10 gold pieces worth of a mixture of charcoal, incense, and herbs. And then, while he was there, could he have also, like, gotten a horn?
A horn? What do you mean by, like...
Like the type you blow into?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make noise?
Yeah, but like, is it a French horn? Is it just like one of those like goat horns?
Well, traditionally, it would be the horn of a capron that was hollowed out and then used to amplify sound that way.
Oh yeah, you can find one of
But
those.
what if it wasn't traditional?
You can find one of those easily.
I'm just saying, you could have a trombone.
It would cost you like a singular gold piece.
Fucking done.
$100 for a horn. Inflation here is outrageous.
Horns are expensive.
I was about to say, have you never bought a horn in real life?
Yeah, you ever bought a trombone?
No.
That's what Xander's carrying around, right?
Groove was not a band, kid. Yeah, they're like $600.
They're fucking expensive.
That's how much a violin was when I was in school. And that was...
That's not even having, like, replacement strings and the wax for it. Like, it's a lot of fucking money.
Great. Good thing you don't need that here. Yeah, Johnny... Did Johnny see Xander? Is he here yet?
Yeah, you all kind of, like, converge at the same time.
Xander, did you receive my message?
I did indeed, Johnny, and here you are, as per your request, and he just pulls out 10 gold pieces of marijuana.
Perfect. Yeah, Johnny's gonna begin casting Find Familiar as a ritual.
Is that what we're calling it these days?
Hey, it says 10 gold pieces of herb is one of the options.
Let me get my magic wand. It starts bubbling. Great. So yeah, we sit down, we compare notes, talk about the plan, which I think I really liked Lysel's idea of if we could like starve them, but I don't know how we would do that. Because Lysel, you said something along the lines of like cutting them off from the magic around. The only issue is I think that the Aetherspine is all fucked up on magic. It's like everywhere. So I like that idea. Another thing I do want to do is I really want to get to the bottom of one of these fissures.
Hey, Dungeon Master.
Hey, me.
Can I contact my mother and see, as somebody who has had to deal with elemental portals, which are slightly different, but of a similar thing, can I contact her to see if she would know of any way that I might perhaps go about closing these fissures?
Yeah, so you do what you usually do to summon your mother, and in like you see a chair from a nearby table move on its own and like scoot itself up to your table. And all the tables, by the way, are made out of like, you ever seen like a really, really old like petrified tree? Like
Never.
a stump of it?
I
It's
have.
basically a
No.
slice of a really old petrified tree that's been like covered in like a, I'm gonna say a glaze because that's the best way I can say it to like make it shiny. But the chair like pulls itself. Also, all of the chairs are either really big mushrooms that have like wooden reinforcement at the bottom, or like just tree stumps with wheels.
With wheels? Oh, hell yeah.
And you see one of these chairs, particularly a kind of large mushroom one, like move over to your table, seemingly on its own, and then your mother appears, or, you know, a projection of your mother appears, sitting in it.
Sorry to disturb you, Mother, but we're having a bit of a problem with fissures, and I was wondering if you knew anything about closing extra-dimensional portals.
It depends, honey, on what the source of it is.
Do we know what the source is? We didn't get that information, right?
No, because they don't know either.
We're, at this moment, unsure, but here's what we do know, and then Xander's just gonna explain the situation.
Roots growing out of the ground. I would say that likely your course of action is to just cut out these roots and mend the earth where they erupted in the first place. It seems like...
Well, I'm always down for a bit of extreme gardening.
It seems like the... She, realizes that she's about to say a pun, and she, scrunches her nose. It seems like the focal point of this magical energy is stored within these roots that sprout out of the ground. If you destroy those enough to where you destroy the center of whatever cluster of roots is sprouting out of the ground, you might be able to close these fissures in the process.
Excellent. We'll certainly give it a shot. Care to stay for a drink, Mother?
I was about to say, did you only call to ask me a question? Did you not want to ask your dear mother how she's doing?
Well, I also missed you very dearly. How have you been? How are things in Petrus?
There. And, normally your mother is very, decided about her words and usually just says whatever, but she actually hesitates for a moment, and she says, they're fine.
Xander kind of narrows his eyes and said, How interesting. Normally you don't hesitate that long before answering that question. What's going on?
No, it's nothing, Xander. I've just been getting used to not having you at home.
Insight check.
Go ahead.
I don't believe. 18.
Yeah, you, look at her and, something about your mother is that if she is hiding something from you, her stone cold, no pun intended, eyes are very hard to read. If she is hiding something from you, you can't quite pinpoint what it is or if she is at all. As her gaze is the same as it always is.
Xander frowns at this and says, I see. Perhaps I shall stop by to check on you soon.
Oh, as long as you are not distracted from what you are out here for, Xander. And as she's saying that, she pokes you on the nose and pokes you on the forehead.
Uncharacteristically, Xander does not react to this, as he is increasingly concerned for the safety of his mother.
Yeah, and she looks at him and she kind of clicks her lips and she goes, oh, Xander, don't look like that. I'm fine. I'm fine. Petrus is fine. I've just been feeling a little under the weather lately, darling. And I don't mean I'm sick. I don't mean my life is in danger. I just mean that, She, kind of slumps her shoulders and she looks at him and she goes, I miss you.
His expression softens and he says, I miss you too. We are taking a small detour right now, obviously, but after which we are heading to Skymount, then to Snow's Reach for some business, and then hopefully we can swing by. At least for a fortnight.
Yeah, and she is about to tell you something. You can tell that it is not the thing that she was keeping from you. But she says, I have something to tell you, Xander.
What is it?
Yennefer's gone missing.
Oh, good. Is this my brand of gone missing?
Exactly that. Her father contacted me asking me if I could send her home, as you know, she likes to sometimes come to the palace and just sleep in one of the extra rooms when she wants to get away. But I had to inform him that Yennefer was not within the palace. Yennefer snuck out of the portal and went to the material plane, Xander.
How did she know I was gone?
I don't know. I didn't tell her, like you asked me. I have not seen her in weeks.
The only individual I told was... Xander gets an expression of simultaneous bewilderment and confusion.
Who did you tell, Xander?
I spoke to Decibel. I informed him that I was departing so that he would ensure Yennefer didn't attempt to follow me.
Oh, well, Decibel's definitely not the one who told her, my dear. He's just as confused as you are that she's gone. Especially considering that he thought that she was at our house.
Xander scratches his chin and waves a hand and says, Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about it at the moment, with me being in the Aetherspine, but I'll look into it. You have my word.
But yes, darling, that was very important to me to tell you. I just found out a few days ago, but not that I wanted to add any extra added stress to your ventures.
I'm just hoping that she didn't try to go to Frumal.
I don't. I don't think she could get there, and if she tries, well, her father would at least find out that much. And she's a smart girl. I don't think she would try to go to Frumal. Not right now, anyway.
I may have a way to find out where she is, but again, I would have to be back in the material plane for that. I'm unsure as to how time works here.
Oh!
Hopefully I'm not gone for too long.
Oh, you'll find out in due time how much time has passed. Once you get back, that is. And,
Ominous as usual.
Nimra looks at...
So you know and you're just not telling us?
Of course. What's the fun in telling everything I know?
Xander, your mother's a whore.
Vivian jumps out the window.
Johnny, what's your armor class?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
That was Groove descending from the sky.
Groove, what's your armor class?
35.
Wow.
Natural 20, that automatically hits regardless of armor class.
Oh, I'm wearing adamantine.
Okay, still hits, you just don't take crit damage.
No. And also, if you try to hit me, you get automatic silvery barbs.
Okay.
No, I'd win.
That's another natural 20.
Oh, about that. You're taking time away from the game, which means you don't have me.
Okay. But, yeah, Nimra says, no, what's the fun in that? Brief reminder, I am a genie after all. Information like that...
How could anybody ever forget?
Information like that comes at a price, she says, and she, lifts up her hands and starts doing the thing where you, rub your fingers together.
Xander pulls out a good berry.
She looks at him almost, offended, and says, put that away.
He slowly eats it.
Isn't it food?
But yeah, Nimra will stay and enjoy a drink with you. Again, it's a projection of her, because she is not normal person-sized, like she is displaying herself.
No, it's fine. She's here with me, she's having a drink, and we're having a good time.
Yeah. I mean, her projection is basically like actually being there. It's just, if she were actually physically here, she would be large-sized.
We need a much bigger chair.
But when she kind of realizes that you all need to start talking about business again, she wraps her arms around you and like squeezes you very, almost uncomfortably tight. She is a very, very strong lady. And she like kisses the side of your face, like on your cheek, and there's like a bunch of orange marks. And she squeezes you and goes, "Oh, my darling boy, I will see you another time."
Hopefully sooner rather than later. Be well, mother.
And
he'll give her the biggest hug that he can muster with his 8th strength score.
yeah, just to give you a comparison, her strength score is 10 more than yours.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And she looks at the rest of the party and goes, "Farewell, Silver Lining." And,
Bye.
yeah, in like a puff of orange smoke, she is gone.
Nice.
Well, that was incredibly helpful. Now we know what to look for. Probably. There's also the possibility that she's wrong, but I would rather take my chances on that than flail blindly.
At even suggesting the idea of your mom being wrong, you feel a force flick you in the back of the head.
I don't feel it because my head's made of rock.
You still feel
No, I'm
it.
I think
He
it's a
doesn't
waste
feel
of
it
time.
because of the tumor.
Oh, no. I think it's a waste of time to go to this fissure without talking to the prisoner first.
Yeah, definitely. You want to do that next?
Why do you feel that way?
Because if we go to this fissure, it's a waste of time to just close it. We need to get to the bottom, literally, of the fissure and see what is down there and see what these roots lead to. These roots don't just spring out of nowhere. We could follow them to where they're supposed to, or where the source is.
Hold a moment.
So-
Mistress Deshays, do you believe that these fissures are being caused on purpose?
I don't think it matters.
It matters not. If there is evil to be cleansed, then it must be cleansed at the root.
We don't know anything about this prisoner, but they seem to be keeping information from us, and it's stupid. I'm tired of it. So we're going to go there. We're going to tell them that we already know what it is. We're going to tell them that we have a plan. We're going to put him to sleep, and then Johnny is going to try and get into his dreams, find out what he knows, and then we can go into this fissure with more knowledge and take care of it immediately without running around like idiots first.
An excellent plan, Mistress Deshays.
Xander kind of holds up his glass of liquor and says, "And that is why you're our leader." Kicks it back, sets it on the table.
That's why I'm pissed. It's not quite the same thing, but I appreciate it.
After the hour is up, Familiar reappears. What does it have to tell us?
It tells you that when it got near the fissure, for one, like a bunch of vines started to coil around it when it inhaled it, and it made it drop to the ground, which is how a bunch of creatures, it described chitinous, small creatures all started to jab at it with their claws, and it didn't take long for it to die.
Worth noting, in that hour, since all we were doing was resting and relaxing and waiting for Johnny, Xander would have made 20 more good berries and then taken a short rest.
Awesome. Great.
Good
to
Can
know.
you tell us the size of these chitinous creatures? Are they like little crabs?
They're small. They're small. They stand on 2 feet And they have pincers for hands, and they are very, very, very aggressive.
So small, two-footed crabs, very aggressive.
Do we know anything about these creatures? What they might be?
Make me...
Can Johnny try to identify these creatures?
Make me a nature check. And whoever wants to, because you did get a description.
I'm gonna give Johnny guidance on this, because I know he can't cast it himself while he's sleepwalking.
He will do this while sleepwalking. 23.
Hell yeah.
The chitinous creatures you believe you're pretty sure are meanlocks.
Oh man.
I've witnessed these creatures in the dream, one that I consumed. They are mean locks, though I know not what that means.
Yeah, they are small, fey creatures, and they are very, very mean. It's not where the name Meanlock comes from, but they are very aggressive, but at the same time very calculated and usually travel in large groups. Because a singular Meanlock really ain't gonna do shit.
Well, I can... When we get in close enough for this, I can help us move to our objective a bit more stealthily, of course, and perhaps a big shiny set of keys will distract them while we pick them off one by one.
And they will certainly be picked off.
But first,
now,
to the prisoner.
To the prisoner. Hey, I was gonna say...
Anybody else have anything they wanted to do while we're here?
No.
By the time you guys are leaving the Crooked Arrow, Emiko, your scythe would be done.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
Go pick
For
those
the
up.
damage of the scythe, would it be my normal damage plus the thunder damage, or does it just convert what I do into thunder damage?
That would have been up to you. I assumed you were doing the normal damage plus. If you wanted to replace it, the only difference is it would have been 50 gold instead of 75 if you wanted to replace the regular damage with thunder damage. If you wanted to... if you wanted to add thunder damage, it would be a D4.
Okay.
Great. Yeah. I think when we get there, or actually probably even before we go, Vivian probably asks, does anyone have anything to do here? And then she's going to say, he's going to ask when we get there that he cannot tell us because he cannot trust us. We have the approval of Celeste, who I gave information to about a medicine that will save the people, at least temporarily, that are undergoing these side effects. He is going to ask questions, and she takes a deep sigh. On her shoulder, Gale looks at Johnny, and she says, "This is medicine that I have adapted from a medicine that I take for an ongoing chronic medical condition. This medical condition is not contagious. It is not dangerous in any way. It is something that I have had for a very long time. It is not going anywhere anytime soon."
Yeah, so you say that you return to Ryder and try to forego going to the fissure to speak to the prisoner, and you want to say that you got Celeste's approval?
Yeah.
Yeah, if no one has any questions about that, then yes.
Yeah, whoever you designate to do, because I know you guys would think this far, have whoever you designate make me a deception check.
I'll take that.
Just why deception?
Because from what I, pardon me if I don't remember correctly, You asked what Celeste knew about the prisoner, not if you could see him.
Yeah, no, I don't care about that. I said we had Celeste's approval because I gave her a medicine that's going to save people's lives. My intention is to walk in and be like, hey, listen up, idiot. She's not going to call him an idiot. She's like, I made a medicine that's going to save these people, and right now Celeste is working on it. I've earned your trust. Let's go talk to the prisoner. Stop wasting our time.
Yeah.
Not lying to him.
Oh, yeah. No.
If that's how Xander wants to
no,
play it,
I misinterpreted what you meant by her approval. I thought you were saying, like, you asked her if you could talk to the prisoner and that she said yes.
No. It really doesn't matter. They're both the same for me. So
yeah,
however you want to play this.
If you're saying
that is 26.
Yeah, that would be a persuasion, but it's the same either way. Ryder, like, at first he looks kind of like agitated, but he listens and he is silent for several moments. He still looks slightly agitated, but he looks to, because the same little cat person is still here, and he says, Penelope. And she kind of jumps and goes, yeah, what's up? And he says, go get the keys. And he starts walking down a hallway behind the, like, war table that he's been, like, kind of standing in front of. And she'll go, yes, sir. And she'll, run to an area that's also behind the big war table, and there will be this, like, you know when, like, a tree's bark has, like, a knot in it where it, like, randomly curls into a circle? She'll walk up to an area of the stone that kind of looks similar to this, and she'll, like, drag her little claw down it, and it'll, like, form, like, a line of magic, and that rock will, like, unwarp and twist into, like, an opening in the wall where, she'll pluck out a set of keys that she literally is so small that she has to, like, jump to grab them.
Their key safe is pattern locked.
Like, she literally is so small that she comes up to Vivian's, like, chin.
Small.
And,
bully her for being small.
And she'll hobble along. Right this way. And she will lead you down a dim-lit corridor into a, what's obviously like a prison. There's like multiple cells. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. There's like, you know, some of them have like runes carved into them that are like dulled, as in they're not active right now because those cells don't have prisoners. The cells that do have prisoners, the wards are active. And they take you to like a larger cell in the back where you see an individual on their knees. Their hands are bound behind their back and their fingers are like, their fists are locked into like a closed position. So that way they can't do, you know, somatic components for spells. The person is blindfolded and also gagged. Not in a way where they're like, where it's like physically hurting them, just like hard, like just enough where they can't like actively talk, you know. But you see that there's like a half-eaten meal beside them, and all in all, they're not being treated inhumanely, just very, very secure. And Ryder will lift up the scabbard to a sword and like tap it against the bars and go, "Hey! You're being questioned again." And the individual looks in Ryder's direction, although it is very obvious that he can't see. And, you know, he kind of just like slumps in a like, this shit again kind of way.
Johnny will kneel down to Vivian, whisper in her ear. He's apparently quite tight-lipped, so why don't we save our time and go straight into the dream? I am confident I could get something out of him.
You need him to be asleep first.
Yes.
She pulls up one of the coins, and so the coins let us cast sending, or they are sending stones that we can only talk to someone who has a coin?
They are sending stones.
Shit. Well, fuck. I'm gonna look back. I'm gonna say, Ryder, get Celeste here, or at least go grab the potion that I asked her to make.
Yeah, he'll nod and he'll look down to Penelope, and Penelope literally like does a salute and then disappears. But you can still hear her like tap 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 and walk away.
Sure. It's gonna be
Also
some
worth noting, as this is going on, I'm going to summon Anodyne, who is now wearing a fox mask. And I'm just going to have her kind of keep watch in the area before the corridor that took us here.
Yeah, and a few minutes go by and maybe it's like awkwardly silent. But the
Vivian will like ask casual questions as it goes on, like, what's your name, why are you here, yada yada. But like, you have to zoom in on this.
Yeah. The individual, by the way, he has a very interesting appearance. He has unnaturally pale skin, almost like sickly skin. He has black hair that like kind of near the bottom of it tapers off into like blue. It's like medium length. He has multiple piercings, and you can tell some of them have been taken out. You can see like the holes still from when they were taken out. Probably was taken anything that could have been used as a focus. And he is wearing kind of ragged black and dark green robes. I don't mean ragged like they are unkempt or dirty. It's more of like stylistically the fabric is made to look a little more ragged, but still clean and well maintained robes. And you can't quite tell how you know this for any of you. You can tell he's not an elf. You can tell that he's not an Aetherkin. He just seems to be like just a fey individual. Just by the kind of aura that he radiates and his kind of appearance that doesn't quite match a particular known anything. And after a few minutes, he doesn't answer any of your questions, by the way.
There is one thing I do want to do.
What is that?
Because we're sitting there and Vivian's asking him questions and he's not saying anything. She wants to pull out a copper coin and toss it by his head. Specifically, Vivian is a person that is blind but is still able to see. Johnny often is unconscious and is blind and is still able to see, excuse me. She wants to know if this blindfold is a waste of time and if he has blind sense, so she throws something by his head to see if he reacts.
He doesn't. He doesn't react until he hears the coin clatter on the floor, and then you see one of his ears twitch.
Alright, Mage Hand, pick it up. That's all?
And after like maybe 4 minutes, Penelope come back. And give me 1 second. And she will go specifically up to Vivian and hold up a vial.
Ryder, I need some assistance here.
What is it you need?
He needs to drink this. I need you to hold his mouth open for me, please.
Yeah, he opens up the cage. The cell, not a cage. And he walks in. And, the individual struggles, not in a way of he is trying to, like, escape or anything like that, but in a way of, like, he's a little freaked out about being touched. But...
Sure. Yeah, use Mage Hand after he has his mouth open and force feed him the potion, close his mouth, hold his nose closed till he has to swallow.
Yeah. However, he did not succeed on a athletics check against Ryder. And Ryder will kind of move the gag, but like also use the gag as like leverage to like force his mouth open. And he'll say, "Go ahead."
Yeah, done.
Yeah, and you see him like kind of like pant and like cough a little bit, like, and he opens his mouth as if he's about to say something, but then he slumps back against Ryder and is unconscious immediately.
Mr. Phage?
Johnny will start out by sensing his dream as in desire.
It is a very conflicting desire. On the one hand, he wants to be helpful, but there is a lot of turmoil and confliction in his dream. Like, he wants to help, but he is actively being kept from doing so, and you don't know help what.
Interesting. And now he's going to sense the dream. This is sleeping dream he's having.
Yeah. Make me a perception check at advantage.
Okay.
You are being constantly guided.
You know it. 15.
Yeah, you kind of like sift through the folds of his mind until finally a light and you can grasp onto it as you find this individual's dream. And you step into it and you see...
I've not stepped into it. I'm merely sensing it.
But you can see the dream and you can sense his confusion through it.
Interesting. What dream is he sensing?
You see that there is a dream where the individual is in a place that is familiar to him, but something is slightly off. You know, like in his dream, he is as confused as he is in real life. And his dream is a reflection of his confusion and how lost and somewhat helpless he feels.
Intriguing. Yeah, at this point, Johnny will enter the dream, taking the form of a pile of dirt to start out. I'm just going to observe him.
Yeah, you see that it looks like he is underground, surrounded by black roots, but there's like a room. You know, it looks like he's underground and that these roots have formed like a dome that is used to make a room. And there's like a table, a bed, a bookshelf, all looked like it was made by hand. And you see him like on the ground, on his like hands and knees, and he looks very confused, and he like looks around and he's like, "Why are all the lights out? Where am I? No, I wasn't here before. I was in Verdanthus." And you can tell that he is, you know, effectively lucid dreaming. He has the capability to understand that he is asleep. And he, like, kind of stands up and, like, dusts himself off and says, "What was the purpose of putting me to sleep? Are they moving me? I can't tell that if I'm asleep. Shit. Ugh. Okay."
Yes, and as he says this, a mass, this vague, wispy orb with the same sort of aesthetics as many of the things they've seen, almost blending into the background. An astute observation. They are indeed moving you. I fear it is to your execution.
Execution. He looks down, and also you can see more of him now because in his dream he is not blindfolded or gagged. He has very bright amber-colored eyes that almost look like they obviously aren't gemstones. They are regular eyes, but they shimmer like looking at a amber stone in the light. And he looks visibly saddened. And he said, "It's not my fault they won't listen to me." Wait, who are you exactly?
You know who I am. Neil.
He kind of straightens himself and he says, and he squints his eyes. And he goes, and he does so, but you can tell it's not out of servitude, it's curiosity. Like he wants to see what happens if he does.
Now, speak. He's charmed by me, by the way.
Yeah. And he says, "I don't know what you want me to say."
You were trying to help, were you not? I see the confliction in your heart.
The denizens of Verdanthus refuse to see reasons, but also your words, although he is charmed by you, they do confuse him. He looks visibly confused by something you said to him. And he says,
The presence will merely wait and watch.
They won't listen to reason, and they only see my connections and not my intent. If they're going to kill me, it will only make things worse. It'll get a lot worse before it gets better.
Fully agree. I have aligned an inheritor of your will. You need not worry. However, for the sake of the people of Verdun, it is of vital importance that he know where to pick up as you left off.
It is.
And then
Oh, go ahead.
Johnny morphs into an individual very similar to him, but of a far more determined demeanor. They are wearing many similar piercings, and they are undeniably cut from the same cloth. I am sorry to hear of your passing, but together we shall cleanse the evil from Verdun.
It's not so simple. This isn't a matter of just picking up my torch and carrying on. If I die, this gets worse. Not that I can stop it if they're carrying me to my death now, but this is not so easy as just killing your problems.
Exactly. That is why I am verily in the process of preventing your death. But in the event I cannot, I must know if there is anything I can do to pick up the pieces. My name is Johnny.
They have the wrong idea about me.
I'm sorry, but I was only recently keyed in by the being that has guided us this far. Could you fill me in?
If you have been led by him here, he mustn't know that we are doing this. He probably thinks he looks at the ground like he probably thinks you're coming to rescue me. But he mustn't know that we are trying to aid the people of Verdanthus, or we're both dead. Do you understand?
Verdanthus, are you there now?
Yes. But
He visibly reels. Oh God.
He waves his hands. Don't. This makes no sense. He told me that there would only be one of me. Has he lost faith in me already? Does he know I'm captured? Never mind.
There's only one thing you can do now. I won't be able to make it to you in time, but perhaps I can inherit your will. I need you to tell me everything. And he grabs his face. It is for the good of the people of Verdanthus. This is the only way we can prevent everything from going to ruin. Do you understand?
Yes, but you still don't understand that if I die, our master's just going to retaliate very aggressively.
I still don't get it. You need to tell me everything.
Listen. If I just had more time, I could heal him. I could...
The aura comes about again. Him? Speak his name properly. About to die and you cannot even speak. Pathetic.
Give me 1 second. I have to unlock my phone and get my notes. Shit, I accidentally muted myself. If I could just heal Achios, this would stop. But he's getting more powerful, and the denizens of Verdanthus will not listen to me. They heard that I knew how the fissures were causing and that I was directly linked to the one doing it, and they locked me in a cell, and they immediately assumed that I'm the villain because I didn't have all the answers to immediately stopping it. But if Achios is not healed, this will only continue to get worse. And if I die, his only warlock, then he's only going to get angry and they will not cease.
Achios, is he drawing power from the people of Verdanthus? Is that the cause of this affliction?
No. The Archfey are a little more potent than that. But Achios is spreading his roots and trying to consume all the light. He is slowly but surely trying to make the Aetherspine more like his home, where he's from, the Manubrium. A perilous and very almost, I don't want to call it impossible, but very daunting task. Likely before the Aetherspine and the Manubrium collide, he will just kill thousands. That's all that it will do. Not that you can reason with Achios.
As I know, he failed even to explain anything to me. His condition is worsening.
Yeah, and so is the people of the Aetherspine, and I've been through 3 landmarks by now. I got to Nettlekeep, right after it was destroyed. I couldn't stop it. His roots are traveling faster.
Tell me. Your alignment. You speak of the people of Verdanthus, but you are a follower of Achios.
He holds up his hand as if this offends him. I am not a follower. He is my patron, and I get my powers from him, but I want...
That's what I said.
I don't support him.
Your allegiance is with the people of Verdanthus, then?
Of course it is. But the thing is that I also have a heart for Achios, and I want to clear his pain. He didn't deserve any of this.
Then we are aligned. I know. And he grasps this man that Achios can be appeased, and the people do not have to suffer. But my people in Verdanthus have informed me that they are actively attempting to foil his plot.
Good.
I know this isn't the way.
Good. They should.
He can be healed.
He can be. But I can't do it alone. That's why I went to Verdanthus. I wanted them to hear me out and aid me, but instead they deemed me a monster and locked me in a cell simply because I explained that I knew of the fissures and even partially helped to perpetrate them. But it got out of control. I only wanted to humor Achios long enough where I could get close enough to heal him, but I got shut out. He's too powerful and I can't take him on alone. Especially since he has control of my powers. At any moment, he can take them back and just kill me. So he mustn't know that I am trying to end his work. Even the two of us cannot do it alone. I was hoping that with the city at my back they'd see reason, but they haven't. And
if Achios is not responsible for bringing us together, then who do you think that figure could be? The one who brought you to me?
I have no idea.
Nor do I, but...
Although...
It seems that they... Yes.
I heard people, voices I didn't recognize. I've recognized every single one of the guards' voices by their pitch and by the way it sounds. There's voices that I didn't recognize.
Hey, Charles. Can I influence the perceptions of the people in these dreams, or only my own appearance?
How do you mean?
I want to insert a false memory into this person's mind.
I think that would require him to make a wisdom save. You can do that, but I believe for that would be a wisdom save from him. Which he just revealed to you he's a warlock, so wisdom isn't necessarily, his governing stat.
Yeah, so he's going to grab them very close. I'm going to say, perhaps it's Arstotin. And instantly he remembers that Arstotin is a benevolent figure, a god who he is reverent to and greatly respects.
Alright, and what is your spell save DC?
16.
Can I say that because the specific parameters that Vivian gave Cell was to make a potion that would make him fall into a deep, deep dream state, that he is more pliable than usual and would have disadvantage on this?
I can be reasoned with that makes sense. With disadvantage, that is a 15.
Fails like a bitch. Yeah, and then the mass, it shifts back and manifests into the form of Arstotin. You know well and have discerned my form. 'Tis I, Arstotin. You've done well in your quest. And I shall ensure that my dear pawn here inherits your will as a fellow patron, as a fellow patronizer of Achios. Shifts back.
Real quick. Repeat that last sentence one more time. My headset blooped at me.
He'll make sure that as a fellow patronizer of Achios, that he can inherit as well.
As much as that's great and all, passing on the torch will, as I said, make things not any easier. But the only way that he can carry on what I was doing is if he finds others to help him and go back to Achios.
I can certainly do that. How would I get back to Achios?
You have to find his tree. It is not in a landmark the way that Verdanthus is, or the way that Nettlekeep was. You have to brave the wilds until inevitably your intent leads you to the right place.
You're saying that merely with intent we can find Achios?
It's a little difficult. It won't be immediate. It's sort of like picking a direction on a road and hoping you end up in the right city. There's a chance that you could be wrong and end up somewhere else. There's a chance that it'll take you somewhere else. Even then, getting to Achios does not mean success right away. I have been studying how to heal him for years. But he will not open up to me and tell me the nature of his death and what causes his corruption to allow me to heal him.
Unfortunate.
That's why I can't do this alone.
Do you think... I worry that others may come to a similar revelation. Do you, and I fear this, believe that Achios could be slain?
He could. It would be exceedingly difficult considering that he would bring forth monsters to his aid, but it's not impossible. I didn't want it to come to that, but if the only way to rid Achios of his influence, I don't know how much worse it's gotten, but if that's the only way, then that's the only way. I've tried saying that to the guards folk of Verdanthus, but they think I'm just shifting my tune to be let out. But I'm not a fool. You can't just simply talk your way out of being released from imprisonment.
Of course. Of course. Is there anything else we need to ask this guy?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And as the prospect of slaying this creature comes up, the man looks up and sees that this individual's mouth is watering. This evil, this great evil, shall surely be digested from this world. Thank you. And the dream falls away. He will remain in the deep slumber, but Johnny will come back and report everything. Or no, he would have been conscious, so he would have been actively reporting as this proceeded.
Well, okay. In that case, we just need... Lysel, are you able to... I know that you mentioned that your memories from this place are fuzzy at best. Do you know if you'd be able to guide us into the wilds?
Well, I could certainly try. I feel very versed in the means of traveling through mysterious natures.
Okay. Yeah. So, I just want to talk to Ryder about this and be like, did he tell you any of this? Because he didn't say anything when I was asking him questions.
He looks down and says, well, shortly after another fissure was dealt with as best as we could, he showed up and claimed that he was a speaker for this being that he was not quite forthright about. It was obvious he was leaving out details for some form of protection. He also admitted to being part of why some of the fissures existed to begin with. And he kept saying that he couldn't give us the full details because he, quote-unquote, knew how we'd respond. So, under order of the Wisp Mother, we imprisoned him until he would give us all the information we needed, but he refused.
Because his patron could kill him at any moment. I think that this Accio should be destroyed.
I am fully and utterly in agreement.
I think that healing it may solve the issue for now. But if it is trying to turn the Aetherspine into the Manubrium, then I'm not sure that whatever brand of medicine it requires is something that the people here could take.
Slaying it will solve the issue forevermore.
What's everyone else think? Vivian asks.
This guy said he was a warlock as well. Obviously Xander's circumstances are kind of unique when it comes to stuff like that. But is there... I guess what I'm trying to ask is there any way out for this guy, or is he just, straight fucked?
He claims that he has a way out. Because he didn't say, oh, if I kill my patron, I die. But he said if he tried to fight his patron by himself, his patron could just simply take his powers away and then no-diff him, basically.
But is that true, or is that, just something he thinks?
When he spoke to Johnny, it seemed like he was very confident in that knowledge.
Right, but I'm saying, Xander, who is a warlock, would he know if that is possible?
If killing your patron has negative effects against you?
No, if the patron can just yoink your powers away.
Yes. In fact, your mother has threatened it to you multiple times. Or maybe not that directly, but she has said, these are gifts to you, but if you use them irresponsibly, you will face consequences. It all depends on the patron. Because your mother has explained to you that there are others, there are other leaders of the elemental planes, that they have their own people underneath them that they give powers to. And that,
So correct me if my interpretation of the situation is wrong, but what I'm gathering, what I'm understanding here is that these fissures won't stop showing up until we fucking notch this guy's patron.
Yes.
Or heal him. Because if we heal him, he won't need to do this anymore.
Gotcha. And we do not currently know what his ailment is or how to heal it.
No. And also, there is a weird, by the way he explained it, what heal really means.
What did he explain?
Because it's kind of like he says he wants to heal him, but it doesn't make it sound like he wants to return him to living a life of, goodness. There's a potentiality that killing him and healing him are the same thing, just different methods.
Wow. Alrighty. That works out.
Does Xander know anything about this archfey?
Make me a history check.
Can I make an argument for Arcana?
You can check your choice, really.
Since this is an incredibly powerful, intrinsically magical being.
Yeah. That's fine.
Awesome. Ooh, not great. 11.
You have no idea.
That's fine. Someone here probably will. We could talk with Cell again, who we have established is at least the smartest person in the hospital, and there's a lot of smart people there.
What we do know is, we can't let the town kill him, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think that Ryder has been the one kind of in charge of keeping him alive and knowing ways to do that.
Yeah, I definitely think Xander is going to mention to Ryder, he's not going to give too much away, but hey, it's not this guy's fault. As somebody who's in a similar predicament, sometimes you can get packed into an entity and it is completely beyond your control. And with the entity that he's bound to, his patron could snap his fingers and blow up his head, you can't really directly defy orders, but he is making a concentrated effort to the best of his ability to help.
While I can see to it that he isn't executed, the only way I can free him is if he stands before our Wisp Mother.
I don't think we should free him. I think there is and I was debating this as well. If it makes sense to bring this guy with us, at least part of the way, because he can help us to get to this place and also help us, with more information about Akios. On the other hand, I don't actually think that'll work because based on Vivian's understanding with the communications between Xander and his mother, his patron will know or have some ability to check up on him based on what he's doing, which I assume is why he's also being extremely reticent. Although he did say does he know that I'm captured? So maybe he's blocking shit off.
Yeah, you guys didn't ask him.
I don't think it matters. I think we just leave him. Go.
I think we should take him with us.
Okay, why?
Well, first of all, he has a better attunement to the types of magics that are going on here, and he could help us in ways that, help us answer questions that we haven't asked yet and don't know to ask yet, if that makes sense. On top of that, it's possible that, he might have a better ability to eliminate these fissures and the problems that they're causing.
Maybe.
While we're trying to deal with his patron.
Jay, Emiko, Lysel, any opinions on whether we should take him or leave him?
I'm not quite sure how much help that he'll be able to offer us in the state that he's in.
Well, because let me put it this way, like, you know, if you're trying to take down a dragon, having another dragon is a good asset. You know what I mean? Using that thing against itself can often prove to be quite effective.
Well, the thing
That's
is,
kind of my logic.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to take him into like the boss fight with us, but he might be useful before then.
Sure, for sure. I'm definitely saying we should leave him out of the boss fight.
Yeah,
but up until that point, he might be incredibly helpful. Also, like, it's very possible that, like, I assume he has a way of, like, knowing where his patron is. You know?
Yeah.
Wouldn't the
Jay,
reverse also hold true?
Yeah, that is also a concern. It does seem to be a slightly different relationship than what Xander and his mama have, though. Because, like, when Xander talks shit about his mom, she flicks him in the back of the head. This guy's actively being like, hey, we may have to kill this guy, and Akios doesn't seem to know. He seemed surprised that he was like, oh, does Akios know that I've been captured?
No.
I mean, to be fair, Xander's patron being his mom, like, he was grown by this woman, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I mean, no,
like,
I get it. Like, but that doesn't
he was
necessarily
grown
mean
from
that
a
that's
pebble.
not the case for other ones.
Also, like, not to talk shit, I feel like Xander's mom is more powerful than this archfey.
I mean, hey, I haven't seen Xander's mom need to open a single fissure yet, and she's doing great. You should just make your patron parents fight.
True.
Emiko, Jay, anything? Opinion on
I'm
this?
indifferent.
Yeah. I'm kind of
Jay?
leaning towards bringing him, but I can be persuaded.
My dealings with people that decide to make contracts is shaky at best. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys.
Okay, so we have 2 ambivalent. 2 leaning toward taking him. 2 leaning toward leaving him. But we flip a coin.
My
roll
main
some dice.
concern is, how are we supposed to guarantee his safety in a place we barely understand?
Well, here's the thing about that is, I don't think anybody can guarantee his safety in his current state, but I feel more comfortable with his safety in our hands than I do with the town. Plus, if we leave him here, there's always the possibility that other agents come back to him that don't ask so politely.
Not to mention, Akio sent one agent, and it was him. So whoever he is, he's capable.
I just don't think we need him. It's like bringing too much bullshit into this. Let's just go into the forest. Let's walk. Let's find out. Let's kill. Alright. I think we should settle it by coin flip. Allie, heads or tails?
Tails.
1, 2 will be heads. 3, 4 will be tails.
What?
Why don't you just do the coin? You know, for the coin flip.
Or just have me call
Okay.
odds evens.
Yeah, I'm bringing him. I rolled a 4.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'll be like, hey, Ryder, can you package him up for us and take him to go?
Splash some water on him. What time is it, by the way? It was late when we got here in the material plane, but I don't know what time it is here.
About that, there really isn't. There just isn't. There's not a day-night cycle here.
Got it. So let me ask you this: how pooped am I right now?
How tired are you? You've
Yeah. Do I feel like I need a little 8-hour?
yeah, a little bit.
Okay. We'll pick him up in the morning. Such as there is one.
Yeah.
Got it. So yeah, let's long rest. Next morning. Wowzers, we're back.
Yeah, he's awake, and he is no longer blinded and gagged anymore. It seems that some other things have happened in the passing of time, because he people aren't being so tense around him. Still cautious. He still has his hands bound. But he is no longer blinded and gagged.
Vivian presses her face up to the bars. More importantly, she presses Gale's face up to the bars. Says, "We're gonna go kill Akios. Are you gonna help us?"
Whoa. He, like, blinks a few times. He, like, whispers, like, how do you...
It's unimportant. Are you going to help us?
Based on what what Ryder told me, that might be the only course of action.
Second question, are you able to help us?
Oh, absolutely.
How?
Well, while again, going to him is still braving the wilds of the Aetherspine, I can help you get to him. Although if you fight him, I can't be there with you. Or I can until he decides that he doesn't want me to be.
You will not be in the room with us when we fight him now. Can he understand your intent right now? How much communication do you have between him?
I have to choose my words carefully, but if I am within the wilds, he has full way of watching over me, unless I eat a particular herb. But I don't have it.
What is it?
It is a root from a crooked birch.
Would it be possible for us to get any of that?
You could get that from Cell.
Cell. And that would prevent him from watching you entirely, and he would not be suspicious of the fact that you have gone dark in the wilds?
He, let's just say, is not involved enough. He is very strong and keeps me on a tight leash, but his other problems are so intense that he does not watch me as often as others of my line of work would be watched.
I'm going to make this abundantly clear, and I want you to answer me as honestly as possible, because you will only have one opportunity to answer me honestly. If this fails, this city is dead. The people inside of it, a fissure will open and swallow it whole, and we will not be able to stop it. Is bringing you going to be a help or a detriment to us? Because if it is a detriment and we fail, this city's death is on your head, and we should have just left you here. I want you to answer me as honestly as possible. Should we bring you?
It'll be a help. I swear.
Vivian blinks and waits for him to respond, to say yes or no.
Yes, you should.
Look back to the rest of the group. Any changes of heart?
Well, it's good enough for me.
Xander? Johnny's still in the firm no camp, I assume. Lysel still in the no?
If it's less than a thing of dragging him around.
Johnny's on board. We'll take it up.
Okay, so Johnny's on board. Sorry, Lysel, what were you saying?
If it's less than the board of us dragging him around while he's unable to defend himself, then I'm more willing to have him with us. I had assumed that he would be unwilling. We would just be dragging his body along with us, and I was not very interested in that.
Also, he gives you kind of a rundown of some of the things he can do. He is the equivalent of a 7th level character.
Got it. Have a go, Lysel. Happy with this?
Yeah.
No, take a scalp.
I think I said Lysel, I meant to say Jay. I apologize. I'm gonna assume Jay's cool with it still. Great. So yeah, let's get Ryder to unlock the door and get him out of those shackles.
Yeah. When he stands at like a solid 6'3", and he nods at Ryder a little awkwardly when he's let out, and he says, before I'm considered rude, my name is Lycophos Ishia.
Wow, yeah, we're not doing that. Your name is Brad. We are calling you that. Understood?
No.
Got it. Alright, let's go, Brad.
He stands still.
Yeah, we go.
Yeah, Mr. Ishia, let's go.
Alright, let's go lick a foot.
I'm so glad you said it. All right, yeah.
Wow, that's fucked. That's so fucked. I thought to the God, Chas, how do you come up with these names? Do you just like throw yourself down a flight of stairs to record it?
No. That name means something.
Man,
Yeah.
Like,
we haven't offended any Lycophoses
Yeah, there's
in
so
the
many,
audience.
You've alienated the Lycophos crowd. We're never going to get any more of them following us. Great. So now that we have Mr. Ishia with us, were there any other preparations we needed to make in the city? We grabbed those rebreathers or apparati that they were talking about.
yeah.
Do we want to talk to the person in charge first? My answer is I don't want to, but if everybody else thinks it's a good idea, we
No,
can.
let's just. I want to go. I want to go kill some people. I'm so
That's
tired
okay.
of this. Let's go
Actually,
cleanse some evil.
What's up,
before
Lysol?
before we go, can Lysol stop at like a general goods store of sorts to pick up just a plain bracelet to weave various plant life around to make a much prettier bracelet?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
That would cost you like 3 copper.
Yeah, we're gonna do that because I think Lysol's gonna collect a bunch of the various kinds of flora of this land to make a bracelet.
You know,
We'll give you an
actually,
enchantment
Dakota-
to make it permanent.
Dakota, you just inspired me to do something. Is there anybody in this town who sells anything akin to like a magical compass that would point us in the direction of this place should we get lost in the wilderness?
Oh boy.
Not really.
Yeah. That'd be
We
great.
just need
though.
intent to get there.
No, no, literally, when you know a place, there's like a 1 in 8 chance you'll get there or go somewhere else, and you just have to hope the place you go somewhere else, if you go somewhere else, is not dangerous.
Well, we also have this guy here who has been there before, so I'm sure that helps.
It does.
Mr.
Well,
Ischios.
especially since he is like this guy is just a Fey TM. So he is a Fey.
TM?
Trademark.
I've not heard of a Fey TM before.
So he's just,
So?
you know, this is just kind of he like nothing phases him. This is just kind of his place.
Nothing phases him.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You're asking for it, buddy.
I had to get there before Dakota did. I was running, sprinting. All right, so yeah, we're gonna take Mr. Ischios and head out.
Yeah, and he takes you to the edge of the he takes you to the edge of where this place, like, you know, stops being consistent. You can see the world in front of you, like, ever changing and twisting and turning, almost like it's inviting you into its madness. And Lycophos will look at everyone and say, just stay by me as close as possible. If you have to, for any reason, walk away from me, state why very clearly. The
Will do.
Aetherspine is an incredibly dangerous place, especially if you are not from it. The nature of the world around you will try to take advantage of the fact that you are not from here until it will eat you alive. If we get into any fights,
We shall see who is eaten first.
if we get into any combats or any sort of scuffle, which we more than likely will, again, just communicate with one another and myself, and you will not get lost.
Oh my god, are we becoming Dragon Ball Z characters now? Like, do I need to yell, like,
No,
Bolt?
it's more of like, if you're like, just about...
Brisk walk to the side of the tree.
No!
Cunning action time.
Just...
Counteraction rising. Yeah, I can't continue that.
Just,
reaction, counter spell.
just know if you want to go off and have some privacy, you gotta say so first. Can't have it.
Shitting in the woods.
No.
If we have to shit, do we just have to stare at each other?
Oh.
Shitting in the woods.
Oh my god.
If I take a shit, do I need to go? Ah!
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
You do that when you shit anyway, right?
Why?
That's what people do.
Why do
What are you
you
shitting?
guys hate me?
Group, I have bad news for you. Hey,
It
one
helps you come
important thing. Was Mr. Ishia done?
Yeah.
Was that okay? One important thing that I forgot to mention, we're not going to bring the dinosaurs in Aerothil. Is it possible we can leave Aerothil with Celeste so she can help her make more of those potions, since she has helped me make my medicine before? Great. And I'm going to be like, on the down low, learn literally everything you can, and then you're going to teach me all of it. The student becomes the master in this case.
Yeah, and he will, once he knows that everyone's ready, he will take one step, and even though you can see into the forest beyond you, it seems the moment he steps out of this sort of stable threshold, that he disappears. And all of you walk forward as well, and you feel
walking forward.
You feel...
Very done.
Entire
Vivian is a rule follower.
The entire world shift around you, and that will be where I end session today.